Oh, just to look and see?
We'll open
Now
this
you-
meeting of September 16th, 17th, oh, I'm skipping a day. Losing a day, yeah. Let the record show that Selectman Scanlon is not present on his way, and Selectman Fogg will not be joining us tonight. He's at another conference. Okay, I am going to make a motion to go into non-public for RSA 91A:3 personnel.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 All right. So you know whether it's supposed to be green or blue or red?
Is that off?
You're on. No, right.
I'm thinking that we're on now. I pressed the button just like Tim said, so I can't tell. I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel permanently and as they pertain to legal matters until such time as those matters might be concluded. Oh, yeah.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Come on in.
Hey,
You all alone?
was I supposed to be with somebody?
Oh, I thought maybe Laurie was with you. Whatever.
You're not with me, I just said I'd meet you guys here and
Okay.
find out what's going on and,
We just had a
I
little
got
quick
several
non-public
calls.
just before you came in. That's why I said could you
oh,
just
that's
hold back?
fine, I understand.
Yeah, no problem.
Usually when I get calls from people, I try to come in and find out what's happening so that I can figure out what's going on.
We'll know when they come in, but to the best of my knowledge, I believe the plans have changed.
Okay. Hopefully it'll
Yes, it's gonna be moving down,
get it removed
Right.
and, okay.
yeah,
Well, that's the main thing, just, I
yeah.
got so many calls on this, I was surprised, I'm not even involved. But when people say, well, we need to know what's going on, I have to try to, you know, I'm not gonna tell the selectmen what to do, I just try to make sure whatever it is that's going on, that we can maybe all work together and get it compromised, and that'll take care of it. Then I can go home, relax, and take care of my girlfriend, who just got out of the rehab today with her, she had a full knee replacement.
Oh, shit.
And so she's home now, she's been 2 weeks at the Genesis. Very nice place over there. And where else could I go for $5 and have dinner with her and lunch, right, for $5, and not have to go home and do dishes and cook? That was pretty good. The only thing I did on laundry, said that she wouldn't have to pay outside for it, I said, I'll do it. Oh, they laughed, I said, I'll do it, I did it.
Are you gonna run again, Dennis?
Probably not, I think I'm just about done.
How many years?
Well, between Merrimack and here, it'll be 15 terms.
And you're not gonna run again?
Probably not, I'm getting tired. I haven't made the final decision, but I'm leaning towards not running. I'm getting tired, you know, getting older, I'm 70 now.
When do you have to sign up or whatever?
Well, we don't sign up till next, June?
Oh, it's
November.
next year is the year that you
Yeah, then
go
I'm
in,
done.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you get elected next year for us.
I had an
16.
argument with somebody yesterday and they said, oh, no, it's this year. I said, no, we would've heard something.
Well, the federals this year,
Yeah,
not
but the
federal,
reps are
but-
next.
Yeah, the next,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's 100th anniversary year.
Well, that's good. Keep you a little while longer.
Yeah.
All right, last night we had a meeting with the Tilton School, and I sent you all an email.
How's
Did you get it?
Joyce? They got you busy, huh?
Joe, did you see the pictures?
Email that was out for my anniversary last night.
Nice, happy anniversary.
Thank you very
They're
much.
in your FYI.
So, how did it turn out?
Well, interesting, we went to, we stood on the
down here?
road and
Is she a young
the
girl?
light was in the light, you could see that if you're looking at the house, it was the frame of the house was very lit up. The white frame of the porch was lit up. And so we were invited in to the porch, and that's when we noticed that's when we understood the problem that Tanis had. When you sit down in the chair on the swing or whatever she sits on there, it's a very, very big, bright light, blinding light, so that if you're sitting in the chair and you look this way, the light is coming in right here. It's blinding. You're not going to be able to talk to somebody that's sitting across from you because you have this big blinding light. So
Football field.
these are some of the pictures that I took on the porch. Oh, you got it? Go ahead.
Okay, I think we just showed.
Oh, go ahead. Show them it's bigger there.
Well, this one was particularly.
Yeah. And I
The
think,
porch.
show them the one on the street there, the one that's in the, where the shadow is, and then the one without the lights on, and then how it diminished the shadow. So we're sitting on the porch taking those lights, that picture right there, Joe, with no flash or anything, there isn't anything there.
What do you mean, these?
Yep. See the white on the frame of the house? How,
Well, I'm inside the house, I think.
okay.
This is with the light on.
No, yeah, I see it
Yeah,
over
that's all
there,
lit up.
right there.
Yeah. See how it's lit?
Yeah.
Okay, now, and you see the shadows on the ground there?
That's with the light off.
Light off, light on.
So, during the discussion, in Peter's stead was Beth Sheehan and Tara. She is the athletic director. So they came on the porch as well, and during the discussion, there was some mention that perhaps maybe just putting a shade on the end of the porch, that would be between them.
Like an overhang shade
Like
that just comes down.
Pull
far
down,
enough.
light filtering
Yeah.
kind of shade,
Yeah.
pull down, and then that would solve the issue of the times in the fall that the lights are gonna be on during a game. So,
How many times do we expect that those lights are gonna be on in the course of the season?
initially, in the fall, probably 5 to 7 initially. But
Mhm.
as the games grow in the competition and they use it for different things, it may get into a little bit more, but initially, 5 to 7 times in the fall. So, I just received an email from Peter saying that he received the photos and reviewed them, and that he will speak with Beth and have her explore with Tanis the idea of light filtering shade. He should have some resolution as to the options by Thursday. If you can plan to have me early on in the agenda, that would be great. Thanks again for your assistance, so I just got that. So if we can put him in early. Sound good? Here's your update. All right.
4.
Next on our agenda is
God.
Lori.
Really?
Lori, you're up. Come on up.
And this is for you from Dari.
How are you? No, and they don't slide well on carpet
Yeah.
either. We decided to have it downstairs because it's a little warm upstairs. Just didn't know how that was gonna work out. So, you have the file, Joyce? So we asked you to come in. There was a concern about the structure, but I understand that that's kind of changing now.
That's the letter. That's what I sent to David.
concern about the structure?
The driveway structure that's coming in, it's initially was only a couple inches from the asphalt. And then they cut it back a little bit to be about 6 inches from the asphalt. And the Board of Selectmen felt that that was too close to the asphalt, and that one of two things were gonna happen. That we were gonna hit it with a plow and damage a plow, or the plow was gonna hit it and do damage to the integrity of the structure itself, and we would be liable for that. And so we wanted it to be moved back off of the town property a little bit. That's our concern.
Okay, my concern is that, as I mentioned to you when you were at the property, and you said that was your concern, that the Public Works Director had already done a site visit and said that we were far clear from any plow hitting it, that it would in fact be difficult for the plow to hit it, and that it was absolutely fine. Which I did let you know at that time, previous to receiving your letter stating what you just stated after the fact. So that is your one concern that we need to figure out, regardless of where the railroad ties or driveway end up. It sounds like the town also has a concern about where the property line is. And my goal is that we all figure that out tonight, since it's a very gray area in this town, the way the maps are, the way everything is, that perhaps we all need to agree today, moving forward, where that is, so we can avoid this in the future.
It's gonna be impossible for us to agree where the boundary line is, because we, number one, haven't had it surveyed, and number two, we'd have to spend probably about a week in that field.
What do you
So our
suggest?
concern is the proximity of the structure to the road. I understand that the Public Works Director didn't have a concern where it was located as to normal plowing. But that road, when it fills up with snow, becomes very narrow because of the embankment to the south side. There's no place for snow to go there. It was felt that by the selectmen that that structure needed to be at least 2 feet, 2.5 feet. I talked to the incoming, well, now he's Public Works Director, we have a new one, and he felt 2 feet would be sufficient for 2 cars passing. They're likely to go off the road. We don't want them to hit the structure because 2 cars are passing, and, you know.
What are you referring to as a structure?
In the town of
The
Tilton,
railroad ties.
The railroad ties.
in the town of Tilton, our zoning ordinance defines structure, and it's the same definition that the state uses for a structure as anything made by man, basically. So we're referring to the railroad ties because, I mean, even though you're building a structure made by man, building a driveway, it's considered a structure, but a car driving over the mouth of your driveway isn't going to cause any problems. But a car trying to pass another car and, you know, going off the road a little bit, it was so close to the asphalt, could conceivably hit it. That would cause a problem. So we just felt that if you could move it back,
Is it
2
possible
feet.
to get a copy of the minutes of that meeting when that's discussed?
Yeah, all the minutes are online.
Okay,
I can't, I don't
including
remember.
the meeting where my property was discussed, that's online, because I looked in the agenda, I was not listed.
Well, we wouldn't be listed on the agenda, it would probably be brought up during the meeting, and, under the selectmen's reports probably, but that, all our meetings are posted once they're approved, they're posted under the selectmen's minutes, all of them under the tiltonnh.org, so you can get them, all there.
So is it the whole, how long is the wall?
Not
It's
the
just
whole
the
wall,
front
it's
part
just
of
the
it.
front part of the
Just
wall.
the
front
whole
part.
part, by the driveway, basically?
Yeah.
So what if, just kind of thinking about it, what if you rounded, is the driveway just a
That
square
situation-
out?
The situation
It's been
has
resolved.
been resolved.
Oh, you've been resolved?
The
Oh,
that situation has been
oh,
resolved.
okay, I was.
Because initially,
Okay,
Dari, land use coordinator, told us that we had to be 20 feet off the guardrail. I was become aware that that doesn't make any sense, the guardrail's on our property. So when I called the road agent, the public works guy, he said, of course you can move it. And so we move it, we don't need railroad ties.
But the issue still
But that
remains
is-
that the second part of the town letter is saying that 40 feet of my land is owned by the town, and I need to see.
No, we're just,
The
that's,
letter was very confusing, and it
Well,
clearly
it was-
states that 40
yeah.
feet of your property touches town property, and that that's some of the.
we are
issues.
your abutter by way of the road.
Right, which makes sense, but then in which case it would be 180 feet of town property would be abutting mine, not 40. So the issue
Well,
remains
the,
is,
The
and
roadway
here's,
is 40 feet, the
Why?
right way, we were under the impression that that is 40 feet wide.
okay, because that's absolutely not clear if you read the letter.
If you read, go back in
Well,
the
I thought
deeds,
it
it's
was
not clear.
pretty-
It is.
well, and that's why I said it would take us
No, it didn't take me very long.
days in there.
Didn't take me very long, it took me about 10 minutes
It
to
would
figure
take
out
us-
that this section of land has nothing to do with the deed that he deeded 40 feet of.
Right.
This
that's-
section of land is totally off of
It's not
that,
even-
whole thing.
It's not even nearby.
So,
That's why I said it would take us days of studying there.
I can do it now, I mean,
We've done
it's
that.
I'm
very
not
simple.
talking about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
existing deed, I'm talking for us to determine what we
The roads
own
here.
there would take
The
a
roads
lot
are
of time in
fine.
that vote,
Roads here.
because those roads were laid out in the
And how much
1800s.
time-
The original
Yes.
deed that was in our road book
Hmm?
for High Street is not for High Street, we discovered it is for Spruce Street. So to determine what we own there for road, for property,
So less
We
than 5
don't know.
inches.
For Cedar
We
Street.
are-
But no, there was when we came to the zoning board, the land use coordinator referenced the deed that you guys were going by to
That's
say
correct.
that there was 40 feet. That deed does not come into play with this property. It's
That's what I just-
beyond that.
that's what I just said, we discovered it was not in the right location in the book, but it is for Spruce Street.
But you put out a letter
I
stating
that I
that it
immediately
was.
moved my road ties based on that deed that doesn't even apply to my property.
But regardless of the deed, we felt that it was too close to the road, so you would have moved it anyway.
So the select board hires a road agent to make a determination about safety, but then overrides that anyway? Is that how? it
That's
works?
our prerogative.
Selectmen can, yes.
We can do that.
And you can do that at will, right?
Well, not at
No,
will. but
not at
they-
will, it's just to be a safety issue, or,
Yeah.
you know, if it's a liability to the town,
And
or
it involves a
potential
majority
liability.
vote, right, by the selectmen?
That's
Yes.
correct.
So is
That's
there a way to
correct.
know with the minutes and see who, you know, how that discussion went?
They're all online.
There was only one meeting, I found the thing. I can look at
Oh, good.
Okay. All right.
So we are comfortable if that, I believe, we've talked about it, if the railroad ties move back away from the road,
We don't need it.
then it's fine.
I mean, we're gonna need it, but not near any closer. Not near the road at all.
Then that's
Because
fine.
now we're at grade, so
Now
we don't have to
right.
bring in fill, we're at grade, we can do what we need to do there without the railroad ties being anywhere close to the road.
Right,
So we're good there,
that's wonderful.
yeah.
And that's,
So that was. the-
originally you were told you had to be 20 feet from
Yeah.
the,
Edge of pavement.
no, the guardrail.
Guardrail, which
Oh.
is,
Right, and now that they only, they found
I don't
out that they
understand that.
needed to be only 10 feet, that's why they could move it back down.
when the land use coordinator was there, when we first started this, he said you have to be 20 feet.
Which was a long time ago.
Which is a long time ago, so, you know, we'll just, I mean, a lot of work was done, now we have to tear that work apart. It kind of stinks. But, that wasn't the case, you know. One of my things is, I've been building for a very, very long time. Really, more than half my life. And not once have I ever seen a selectman out there measuring my lot. Yeah. And, you know, I have issues with that. Because,
Measuring your lot.
yeah, measuring to make sure that we're so many feet from the brook, measuring, you know, not just
What
once.
selectman was doing that?
You did.
Both of you.
No, I came out with the
multiple
code
times.
enforcement officer,
I've
The
never
whole-
measured your lot.
the dumb
Yeah,
end of
not
his
you.
tape.
I'm not saying you.
Oh,
I came out with the code enforcement officer to hold the dumb end of his tape. He did the measuring. I was
No, that was
just,
one time when I
I
saw
was
you.
just,
When we had this argument about
I-
the 40 feet back, way back then. But,
that's why he set a setback for you from the edge of pavement.
but there was another selectman 3 or 4 weeks ago, right?
So is that's because that's the other thing we're going to discuss at some point
Is that norm for a selectman to come out and measure a lot?
If there's an, it's not really the norm if somebody, we would go out and measure. If there's an issue with a property, or a business property, whatever, and it's brought to our attention, there will be probably 5 of us that will go out and check it out at some time. We're a very active board, we'll go out and look at the issue, see what we can do to resolve the issue, and then probably have you come in, sit down. It's very, very, very rare that we don't ask for you to come in and resolve the problem. So that's,
Well, in this particular case, I wasn't asked to come in again and discuss the problem, I was sent a threatening letter.
I don't think it
No.
was threatening.
no,
You need to move your railroad ties immediately from a letter that was sent to me unsigned.
How is it threatening? That just means.
Because if there's no discussion to explain this, and I'm going off of the driveway permit that I had, and the discussion that I had with the guy who's been in the town for a year, I have no reason to think there's an issue. And I do live on the corner across the street from the property. I work at a school, and I have school at night days. So I'm up at 1:30 in the morning, I had the plow go by, and I give him coffee, and I wave, and I am very friendly with the plow guys. Like, I'm very familiar with the snow accumulation on that road. I'm sure that you guys are too. And it seems to me like a nice logical discussion to come in and say, actually, we feel like the snow builds up, we felt like maybe there's still some gray area. There's been no, this is, up till now, my experience of the town, and everyone I've experienced in the town has been I wanted to build in this town. I want my mother to be in this town. I love this town. So it blindsides me to come to a select board that has made, and this has been reported to me, comments to every person that's working on my property, threatening statements made. When I spoke to you at the property, and I said, well, I spoke to Dennis already, well, I'm over him. And that's how you said it. That is not the expectation of what our conversation, I said, well, I'm doing everything right.
I would never have said
You
that.
did.
And
You
people
did.
that know
I
me would
have a
never have
witness
said
that you
that
said it.
I'm over somebody.
You did.
So-
And so, this is shocking to me that the people that are running my town.
The only time
are
I've ever
behaving
been
this way
there
me
is
when
to
I've
take a
never had an
picture.
adversarial interaction with you ever in my life. So we need to solve this today, because I'm still a homeowner here. It's not just about putting my mother here, I also have a home here, and he happens to also have a home here. So, moving forward, I wanna have a positive relationship.
Well, I would like to
with my
have a
town.
positive relationship too, but I want to make it very clear. I was asked to take some pictures. I stopped by and took some pictures. I live right up the road, off of Winter Street, off of Cedar Street. I took some pictures. You stopped in and asked me what I was doing. I was very kind and told you what I was doing. Do you have any concerns? Yes, the board does have some concerns. We'll let you know. And I would never use my authority in any way over any one of our, number one, our employees, number two, any resident in the town of Tilton. So I would be more than happy to resolve and look forward to resolving issues that we have with the residents. We have them come in every week, we change our agenda, we move it around so that we can adapt to what the residents need. That's why we asked you to come in to resolve this.
And that is why I'm here.
It just appears to me that we've gotten crap from the first time we started this project. And it appears to me that it's a blatant use of power, abuse of power in this town. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, like I said, yesterday when I had to have a truck leave because they were delivery, because we didn't have, and was told to me that the chief of police went down and said, the selectmen said that you need to, so.
Two selectmen.
Two selectmen have said that you need to post
To get a
detailed cop on
Right,
site
delivered.
to get delivered, really. Because I didn't see that for Verizon, I haven't seen it for MetroCast, I haven't seen it for oil deliveries, I haven't seen it for anybody else. But yet, we have to get one for a dump truck to dump sand.
Where was you dumping it, on your property?
Yes. and they-
Inside the driveway?
Yeah, this is delivery.
And the dump truck said, I'm
So-
not gonna be here long
So
enough.
this is
Why-
my
you
problem,
wouldn't need a detail
one thing
for that.
after another, after
You
another.
wouldn't need a
No.
detail to drive the
No,
truck.
according to the selectmen, we do.
Not really.
The
No.
chief of police made him move, and you have to
She
take that
really said
sand
The
off.
selectmen want you moved.
And he
even if
moved
you
them
are only
immediately.
there for a few minutes,
That
you need to
was
move them immediately.
not
Wow.
exactly what came out of last week's meeting, and we just found out about that, what
Today.
exactly took place.
Who was the selectman that told the chief of police to tell him to move the truck? Who was that? Which selectman did that?
I did.
Why?
There were two, he said, so.
And who
The
else?
other one.
was news to me when it came in.
It came to us last week by way of Selectman Fogg, who said that there were construction vehicles that had reduced the road to one lane. It wasn't reported to us that a delivery vehicle, dump
Right.
truck,
Right.
concrete truck,
The guy
whatever,
just started Monday,
But I
it's
don't
not
know
even
that-
last week.
Right,
was
this is day before
making
yesterday.
Right.
a load, but that's what he came in and
We
said
already know that.
Thursday.
Came and said that there was,
We
right,
didn't
it
see
was,
it, that's what we were told.
He made him move,
Well, as long
because
as you're not in the
We
road,
did
and you're
not
not
instruct
trying to traffic,
the
if it's
police
just going to
chief to
your
make him
yard,
move.
then you don't need a detail, okay? That's simple.
No, he was told that the construction vehicles had reduced the road to one lane.
I just found out about that from the builder guy that you have over there. I
Is it
just
because
found
they
out
drove
about
down
that
the
from
road?
this
Is that why?
afternoon. And I apologize
So,
profusely
that's
because the
normal. That shouldn't happen.
communication that
That shouldn't
happened
happen.
Shouldn't
between
happen, no.
what was
Okay.
said as the selectmen here on last Thursday night, communicated to the police chief, was not what we communicated to them.
Some miscommunications up there.
But I called the police chief,
Mhm.
and he never returned my call.
Well, he'll be in a few minutes, so.
Okay.
Well, but even still,
He
whoever
comes every
was
Thursday night.
walking the road last week was not us. I don't know who that was. We haven't had construction.
We haven't had construction stuff there last
Day
week.
before yesterday was when the police came, so.
Don't know.
I mean, they just
I don't know
started
who that is
Monday
there.
with the construction,
Do you think
so,
it was Monday night?
Oh, it was Monday night's meeting, I'm sorry, that's right, I forgot we met at
Okay.
Selectmen Monday night, it's usually Thursday, it was Monday night when he came in, thank you, Gail.
but you can see my concern with the abuse of power here, because everything we do, it's the selectmen, I'm like, really? Because in all my years of building, I've never had to deal with the selectmen, ever, ever, ever. So you hire people to do a job, let them do their job. You guys aren't the police of the, you are in a sense, because you hire them, but let them do their job. I mean, you hire professionals to do their job, but then yet you say, no, I don't like the way you're doing it?
When we see something that affects the public safety, regardless of who,
I can understand, but that doesn't
Then we
mean coming out to
intervene.
my lot and checking it 3 or 4 times. It doesn't come out to my lot to say, or send me a letter without discussing it with me first.
well, the letter went out so that you would
Come in
contact the
and
selectmen and come in and discuss it.
Come in and discuss it,
But you
correct.
didn't need to move the retaining wall away from the road, it was a safety hazard.
Well,
And you did, we're past that.
we're
Let's just
past
get
it.
past
Yeah,
that.
no, but I'm just
What are we gonna do
saying,
about
it's
the
one thing
boundary
after
line?
another, after
Yes,
another, after
that's
What are
another.
we gonna do about the boundary line? Because I don't feel this conversation is very productive.
No.
So what do we do about the boundary line? That's the only issue at stake here, is that not correct? You have a
Well,
zoning variance to be
you
10
have-
feet from the property line.
I
So,
mean, here's the thing, we have a setback that was set by the code enforcement officer, 20 feet from the edge of pavement for the building. Personally, I don't think that should be interfered with.
It's a variance.
You have a variance that's based on the boundary line.
Well, and
We don't know where that is.
Right.
Most of those roads are laid out within the village district, they're not prescriptive.
Right.
So there
I
probably
agree.
is a piece of property, et cetera, et cetera. We could locate the boundary line, but quite frankly, it may cause more problems. Just my opinion. I'm not speaking for the board, I'm just speaking for myself. You have a setback for the house. We have resolved the one safety issue for the retaining wall. I don't think there's any other problems with setbacks. You've got a setback from the brook, I understand, for,
no, we didn't want one from the brook.
for the building. No, the code enforcement officer agreed with the setback from the brook. There was something about porches, he said. And that was resolved early on. So I
Yeah,
don't
we had to
foresee-
change it, it was encroaching upon, in the air, it was only air.
Cantilevered.
Right.
It was cantilevered out,
So-
which was encroaching on the setback, which we told we couldn't do,
Right.
we were told.
So I
Yeah.
don't foresee,
Yeah.
Is that, so,
Yeah, it's an encroachment.
I don't foresee any more problems for you for building that.
I
mean,
certainly hope
unfortunately,
not.
well, unfortunately, you have a lot that was subdivided. And when it was subdivided, there was a square footprint for a house there. The planning board at the time didn't say, all right, this is restricted to this many square feet, and now you're building a house that's bigger than that footprint. and there have been issues with setbacks and whatnot, but I
Are
think
you
we're
gonna
beyond
be-
that now, aren't
Right,
we?
but you have a zoning board for that, right? Not a selectman board for that. You have a zoning board that takes care of stuff like
And they
that,
do.
correct?
But-
Right. So why even bring it
No,
up?
because the remaining issue is it edge of pavement? Are we agreeing then that rather than spending hours in files and us, which we've already done, spending hours going back to old deeds, the Tilton Manor and everything
That's
that we
right.
live there, do we want to just agree, all of us right now, that it is edge of pavement?
That's
where
your
the town
setback,
ends
yeah.
and we begin?
10
The
feet.
property line.
20 feet from the edge of pavement is what the code enforcement officer
I'm not
said.
talking about the setback.
And they have a, they have
Put a
a,
setback on the
That's right,
building.
that's right.
they have a variance.
Right.
that
Their
allows them-
variance
The variance is
states
a-
boundary line.
Right. The variance says boundary line, not
Most of them
setback.
do say
So we're right
boundary
back to we have to determine the boundary line.
No,
See that?
I think
No,
that
no,
we
no.
can agree, I think that we can agree that the only thing that was an issue with the selectmen was the structure of that retaining wall.
Right.
It's out of the way, it's out of the picture.
That's all.
No,
that-
it's
Your
gonna be-
footprint for your house is set by the code enforcement officer.
There's no more issue if he drives his trucks down there to
Well, we're gonna
do
have
stuff
to,
on the
we'll
property,
have to have a
that won't be a problem.
conversation and
Okay, I wanna
and straighten
make sure
that out
that's
with the
not a
chief.
Yeah.
When the chief comes in, we will be having a conversation on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
that's-
promise we will be having a
But
conversation on that.
it is normal, and I'll tell you, because I've been around a long time, in Merrimack when I lived, and I live in Sanverton. When I had some things in my house, it was the similar things that you were going through, setbacks, lines, things like that, and sometimes we get frustrated because we're not getting the answers. But the selectmen do have a right to oversee every agency in the town, because they are the final thing. If that doesn't resolve, then there's 2 or 3 things. You can bring in some guy like me that might want to listen and find out what's going on. The other issue is you can hire a lawyer, which is costly. But if you can resolve it, like I think they're trying to do here and all of you, and that's a good thing, if you can walk out of here tonight and be resolved.
Yes,
And
that's-
I think that's the best thing, and I wanted to come just to listen, to get a feel of what was going on. And I don't think anybody, I think it's just a little miscommunication here, a little bit here, but I think it can be resolved, and I think, I'm kind of happy with it. I'm not taking sides, I'm just saying from what I observed, they're willing to go from the boundary line, whatever for you, I think that's a good thing. The wall's not an issue now, or the tiles or whatever it is over there. I thought it was a cement wall, then I realized it was railroad ties. Okay, but, so I think that's a good thing, I think this meeting has been very productive, and I think what I'd like to see on both sides is that you let the past go and just kind of, let's move on. If there's another issue, then we can get on with that. That's my feeling here, but I'm not telling the selectmen what to do, and I'm not trying to tell you that you can't do something, okay?
Yes.
I'm just here to observe and make sure that we can make you happy as a resident, and the selectmen and everybody can walk out of here at least.
I think one of the biggest issues, and let me give you just a little bit of history to why we are on top of construction vehicles and with the utilities and Verizon Wireless and so on in our village district area, because they stop, they block the passageway. We have a problem on Chestnut Street where you have painted sidewalks, and if we make the people park on the outside of the painted side, of the sidewalk, now we only have a very narrow two-way, very narrow, and going back and forth. High Street is the same way. When you get up at the top of the hill where there's the painted just above where you're building, there's a painted sidewalk, it's the same way. And Cedar Street is a little bit wider, but Chestnut and High and Cedar and Prospect, they all block it, they seem, the gas company the same way. And for maybe 2 years, out of the 7 that I've been a selectman, we have been right on top. If a resident calls and says they're blocking the road, can we go and have it checked? What we do is we call up and say, Kate, can you just go over and talk to the person and see what's going on and see what can be done? Perhaps maybe we can direct the traffic in some way that it doesn't involve a stoppage in any way, or, a backup because the kids come from, they fly. Well, they're gonna fly down that hill. And thank God there's a house gonna go there, because the kids used to hang out there all the time. I'm saying, yay for a house. Yeah, it's awful. But, so coming down that street, we've been very, very careful throughout Tilton on construction vehicles, utility vehicles. We have an ordinance. If we have utility vehicles out there, they have to have a detail, they have to pay for a detail. But a construction vehicle like yours, coming in, dropping off, having it safe, having an officer there just, you know, temporarily just, okay, you're a half hour, you dump the sand, you're out, that's not gonna be an issue at all. You have a long-term, going forward, if you have a long-term, because it's such a small street, then perhaps maybe you can ask the neighbor to go down that little side street and just borrow it for a couple hours, or, you know, when Mike leaves his tractor or trailer or whatever. And try to make the accommodations where we can, or park up on Spruce Street, and then, you know, the tractor trailers or something. And that's the accommodations where the policeman should be saying to you, is there another direction in which we could work this without disadvantaging the people in the village district that are trying to get to their homes? And that's what should have happened to you yesterday, Monday, whatever. And instead, they made the move, and I apologize for that, because the message that we gave, and to this day, and I honestly don't know what officer went out there, whether it was the chief, because when I spoke with, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, the builder, the one that's doing the, Ed, told me that today when I was coming down, and I said I totally apologize for that. And when I first came in, I talked with Joe and Catherine about it, and I said, we shouldn't be doing that. That's not right at all. However the message got from our hands, and they were all here, I was on the phone, we were just about ready to start the meeting, and said, could you check on High Street? There's construction vehicles up there blocking the one-way, and it's down to one-lane traffic. No way did we want or say, get them out of there, you have to leave. That's not our intent, and never will be our intent. So,
You know, we said that, you know, we have to have a detail to do that, and I said, really? 'Cause
yeah,
I've been around this town a long, long time, and I've never seen a detail for anything.
yeah.
Or a dump truck making a delivery, you're gonna have
We
a
do.
detail.
Well, you know, when you got an oil truck out there making deliveries, they're longer than that than my dump truck
Exactly,
is, you know?
exactly. No,
I
you
mean,
don't have to have a detail for that. If you have a construction vehicle and they're dropping off,
Right, I understand if it's gonna be long-term, like
Right.
when I get my cement truck there, they're gonna be there a while, because they're gonna have to pump it around to the foundation,
Yeah.
so then I can understand that,
right,
you know? But for dropping off material, I was livid, to say the least, because
Right.
now that truck cost me money because he had to leave, you know? And every time they truck something, it's expensive,
yeah, it
so.
is. And I really do apologize for that,
You
because
know,
that
I
shouldn't have
had a thing
happened.
at my house last year down on the end of the driveway, because I have one that comes in and out, the Gray Road, and I had that, you go, for the water right now. Pardon? Culvert. Thank you. Well, anyway, the town guy came over, and one of the selectmen I had over, said that we make sure that it was where it was supposed to be from my property to the town. And that does happen, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah, that does happen.
I've never seen it, but,
Well,
You know,
because,
now I have.
because of the way, no, but because of the way it goes down to Gray Road, we have to watch the runoff of the other people that live down below.
Right.
So there are incidences where, like, you live in a little congested area there, and I think they're very concerned with that too, and so, don't feel bad, it happened to me, but I didn't get over about it, because.
well, no, it's because it was one,
Yeah.
two, three,
Yeah.
four, it's just been boom,
And as
boom,
we
Yeah,
said,
boom.
yeah, and I
It
understand
did,
what you're saying.
and I live on the
Yeah.
corner, so I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many delivery trucks I've seen
Yeah.
over the years, everything you can imagine. So to learn, which was a communication problem, that I needed
Yeah.
detail, I'm like, what? I need one?
Yeah.
When everybody on this corner, and I can, has been 12 years.
I would probably have had to have
Yeah, it
hired,
happens once in a while.
That's what,
Not for a delivery.
And
Listen,
I've known Pat, and I've known
Judging-
Pat since I've been here, and she's really, if she said something, if she didn't say it, I know she didn't say it, and I'm sure she didn't order anybody to go tell you to do that. I think she probably asked him to check on it, and then maybe the officer just kind of said, hey, wait a minute, you gotta need your detail. I don't know if that's the case, but I know Pat would have said, send a detail over that and stuff. That would, you know, I didn't take on those sides, that, no care.
I think that if
She's
we
very
were to
honest and
stop a
sincere.
construction site, if I were out there and saw that and called the police and said, hey, could you check on this? If we were going to stop production on a construction site, no matter whose site it was, I would first have to call all the selectmen and get their opinion on every single one of them
Do you
before
have to
I
get a
could do it.
cease
I
and
can't make
desist
that
order?
decision on my own.
You'd have to get a cease and desist.
I was just gonna say that, it's my understanding.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you can't, I would never have done that. You know, my tenant last year ordered enough things from UPS, I probably would have had a detail going up and make it court. So, that
So I
would
guess
have
we
been
can.
costly.
Move forward, right?
We will be
Get it
served with the
resolved.
detailed issue with the delivery vehicles.
Yeah, I just,
We will,
Yeah.
right.
No, that's,
I'm glad we got that straightened out.
And I really don't know who owns the land. I know
It's Lori and I own the land.
the across the street.
Oh, across the street, I don't know who
That-
it is.
I think it's
It's just a
Jim with the big red truck with the.
Does
He lives
anybody
on
live there?
Chestnut
I've
Street.
met him
That's just a
when I was
camp or something,
inspecting
right?
over
No,
there.
it goes down and back.
Is it a camp or is it a house?
I think it's a
Is
house.
it-
Someone said it was a camp. There is?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even know there was a camp.
James Mercado.
There you go.
Mikado. So I think if you ask the
Right.
Mikados
Well,
to,
whoever,
you know, for a couple hours, you know, if the tractor trailer, or put it up on Spruce Street, because that's less traveled than it is on Pine, because there's a lot of traffic on High Street.
Right,
A
there is,
lot,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of traffic.
whoever that is probably very nice, because he lets my neighbor, doesn't park there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
That is good.
our,
He
our,
lets that
He's a
right.
good fellow.
park there.
And Al used to park the trailers and things down there
Okay.
when he was around.
Yep.
So I think that would be a viable resource for you to just check into that
I
part.
agree.
So in addition to, making sure that we're within the edge of payment with the variance, I wanted to determine how much, or if there's a right of way, because that's also been unknown. I just
With the
wanna-
road?
Yeah, with the property, I need to know that, just, just in case.
Well, that would be a boundary issue again, that would be
We'd have to
some
look up-
research.
We'd have to look in the vaults on the roads and get the history of the road and look
Some
some,
of the selectmen laid it out.
there are, right, different roads are different.
Right away would be an RD.
It's not, oh, I just.
But your house is far enough back.
Away, yeah.
But, I mean, there's gonna be snow storage that will probably be on your property, just like everybody else in the
Right.
Look
world.
at what I have now.
But
Maybe
Oh,
we'll,
compared to that, I want
Just
to.
hope we
all the
don't get a bad
utilities
storm.
are
She's on the
way.
corner, it's bad,
All
it's
It's
bad.
just
Yeah,
that
that's
high.
But it is, I
All
understand, the roads are skinny,
All your utilities are already in, that
Yeah.
infrastructure is there.
right.
The sewer line runs through the property, correct?
It,
And then down under
it
the road.
does, but we're gonna, when we
They
bring the
may-
water in, we're gonna have to shut the road down for a day. There's no
Yeah,
ifs,
you're
buts
gonna go
about
in-
it. We gotta get the water, because the water's on the other side.
We met Monday night and talked about
And,
how you're gonna hook in.
So, and then we're talking about
What is
hooking
the
in.
process, do we fill something out, do we, how do we?
You have to go see
do
the
that?
sewer commission.
the sewer
Well,
commission,
Administrative assistant.
which is one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We had a conversation Monday night
Yeah.
about tying in
and,
there.
and I don't know if we're gonna tie in yet. I think we're gonna try and tie into the existing manhole. Oh, no, not the existing, no.
The 8-inch
No,
pipe.
the 8-inch pipe, that's right, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. We had talked about that, and then you guys didn't like that, so we're.
DES would prefer us not tying into the
I
manhole.
get it, yeah, okay.
We can overrule that, but we.
No, that's
We
fine.
felt it
But
be
we,
easier
it's
tying
just as
to that
easy,
8-inch.
it's just as easy to do the 8-inch,
Yeah.
just as easy, so
So.
it's not a problem. Actually, it's easier.
That's what we felt.
It's easier.
And just let us know ahead of time when you're gonna close the road down, we'll get the highway crew to.
Right, that's
put
up to the
signs
water
up.
department. They're gonna do the.
Oh, they're gonna do it, so
The
they'll
whole-
close the
right,
road down.
right.
Yeah.
Their water line is
They'll have a
underneath our
detail.
sewer line.
Now, see, in that instance, they'll have a detail. They'll
Yeah.
close the road
Oh,
down.
you're gonna have to there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, if I have a truck there for any length of time, I will get one too, you know? Because I always do. But when it said the delivery, I was like,
Not for 10 minutes, huh?
I was off my
It would
rocker.
take longer than that to get the detail. I had to drive over there
They
with
think it's a
enough.
4-hour
So I hope
minimum
you
detail
dumped it
too,
before you
so.
I know.
get there.
Huh?
You dump it before you get
Possible.
there?
Yeah, it's $65 an hour, it's like,
Wow,
Yeah.
there's the minutes, Joyce just printed them out quick.
I'm sorry, for the record, the gentleman's name, because I'm not sure who he is.
I'm Ray Dumont.
Ray Dumont,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
All right, so, boundary, we really can't determine the street, so we're gonna consider the edge of the pavement. the
Your
set-
setback
Your
line.
setback,
Okay.
and then, you're moving that driveway structure or whatever.
Right, well,
That's
that
not
won't be
gonna-
no issue anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an issue.
And that really was the only issue with us, and everything else has been taken care of through code and zoning and everything else, so it's something that don't mess with.
Yep, yeah, those were the-
And all that will be in the minutes.
Yeah,
There's record.
as record, so you can always fall back on that, and you might, next week, maybe Monday, Friday, tomorrow, no, next week, they'll be posted online, so you can just print a copy for your own file, so you have it right in your property stuff. All right?
Yeah.
Any other questions, feel free, knock on our doors, whatever.
I have no other questions. Do you guys have any?
Well, we still meet with the chief, or he's not?
He should have been here.
Yeah, he probably had to be, could be on an emergency.
Yeah.
He's on the agenda.
But he definitely will be spoken to.
He will definitely, he comes every Thursday night, he's here with us.
Okay.
Oh, he's on at 6 o'clock, so
Oh.
maybe he's waiting for
And
6.
he comes to my committee, the criminal justice committee.
So you can tell
So
him.
I'll tell him too. don't
Yeah,
worry.
just, I
So
mean,
he'll know
I will
I'll say,
get to the
"Chief,
bottom
I
of
don't
it.
wanna blame him,
No,
'cause
no, because I don't know if he's.
Well,
It was
with Ed-
obviously
it was a
some
miscommunication somewhere.
Ed
Yeah.
told me this
Gotta
afternoon.
blame, we wanna
We'll make
get
sure.
it right.
right.
Doesn't have
No,
anything
right.
else.
No,
Not
no,
clearing up
I
this
mean,
communication.
the only people I was blaming for that was the selectmen, because they
Oh.
told them to do it. That's what he
That's-
said.
Ed
That's
told,
all right.
That's what the
It's
driver
a done deal.
said.
right, when Ed
That's what
told
the
me about
driver
it,
said.
he said
The
the
code
captain,
enforcement
he said the
officer,
captain,
Darrell,
and so what I did
this
is
is in
I
Manchester.
texted the captain, I said, hey, Captain,
Okay.
did you go over and speak with the people?
Yeah.
And he said, Pat, I didn't have anything to do with it, and I said,
Oh,
fine. I
okay.
said, let me find out who it is.
Okay.
Let me take it from here, and I'll go, and that's where I left it with the captain.
Yeah, it's just the way the whole thing
I
came
know
down.
he's coming,
you know,
chief's
but it's
coming
all
in,
right.
we'll take care of it,
Miscommunications happen.
so that,
Believe it or not, I got a
I
call on that
apologize.
too.
Okay.
You did?
Yeah, I get a call on that, so I was gonna bring it up if somebody didn't.
Yeah, no, I was gonna
I
bring
thought
that
there was
up.
some miscommunication from what I
If they
gathered.
hadn't brought it up, I was bringing it
Yeah,
up, because that
thank you.
was a miscommunication.
Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you so
for
much for
coming
coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, Evans.
All right.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure.
thanks for coming in, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Glad we
All right,
could
Dennis,
get
thanks.
this straightened out.
Yeah,
Thanks.
me too.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, you too, Art.
Joyce?
Hey, I'm
Make
stealing a
sure
Snicker on the way out.
Sorry.
I
think we
got it. Thank you.
Shorter.
Elle
Take
will be
care.
in tomorrow, make sure Elle knows birthday Monday that this is resolved and that was
Okay,
resolved.
Laura?
Okay,
So there'll be no confusion.
pass this down to me, please. All right, clerk of the works, we have one?
They didn't use up all my time, did they?
Well,
No, we'll make extra time for you, Miss Sarah.
Well,
yep.
This is an email from Piper Construction. Would you like to read it to you, or you wanna read it on your own?
Read it to all of us.
They're
Not
gonna,
fancy.
they're gonna open the bridge, if you want to open on Monday, the traffic, walking and driving, no paving will be done till the 8th of October, 3 weeks away.
thank you.
That's a open it. Safety.
We took a survey over in Northfield, phone survey today. 4,022 said open it, 2 says don't open it, and 3 says I don't care, only leave on the 5th when I get my check, so they go to Market Basket and get my beer.
That's an official poll?
Was that Dennis?
Yeah, I guess they're waiting.
With that one that called, I meant?
Oh,
No, that we had the
It had to
whole
go to
town hall
Market
and the whole
Basket.
police department, that's what they did today, done phone survey.
they called 4,000 people.
4,022 says open it, 2 says no, and 3 says they only go leave the house once
Are
a
you
month, it's
serious?
on the 5th.
No, we
Seriously,
didn't.
you did not do that today. You did not waste your time on that, did you?
Tony, I'm writing this in my notes here.
I don't believe him. She's trying to work over there, and you're just,
Now it's in the minutes.
yeah, nice
I
going.
don't care.
4022 open.
Dennis.
One wants to get his beer. Have you seen this letter?
Yes, I've heard about this.
How many
already.
days will the
Okay, good.
paving take when they come in October 8th?
I talked with Billy Hurst yesterday, and they can do it all in one day.
Okay,
But we gotta have one day to put the membrane down,
okay,
so it's gonna be 2 days.
2 days. So what will they do to block the road again? The
It-
same signage?
We can just cover the ones up now we got, and open them up when they do that, or put them on the easel.
Okay.
I just soon put it on the easel, because it's,
Well, once we open it up to traffic, and then we close it again for 2 days, that's gonna be interesting.
not won't bother at all. Because, well, first of all, it's not gonna bother at all on this end of the bridge.
Well, you still have to close this end of the bridge.
Yeah, but you still got a way to get in and out.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So
I'm
that's,
just
so that's
saying.
gonna be,
A lot of them turn in and
People
then.
are gonna go,
Well,
oh, wow, the
it's gonna
bridge is
be-
open. Oh,
it's gonna be a
no.
minor problem.
It's a big problem at the Park Street lights every night.
You're right.
And it's just horrendous down there. Trying to make coming down Prospect, trying to make a left. You're the only car there trying to make the left, but there's a line of 20 cars trying to turn onto Main Street because they would ordinarily be diverted onto.
I went by the high school at
Canterbury?
5 minutes past 5. It was 10 minutes getting in, and I got my scoop.
Is there, can we use their board, if they're gonna leave the big one, that they can change the lettering on?
You can put anything you want.
Yeah, could we notify people a couple days in
They're
advance?
gonna do all that. It says you have to,
If they
You have to read the
sign,
bottom
we
line.
We'll make the
close.
proper notifications to the authorities and notify the public with our message board. It doesn't say how many days in advance, that's what I'm getting at, I mean,
or
at
you can do
least.
what you want.
Yeah.
3
Okay.
days?
All right,
3
I'm
days
just
fine.
thinking,
Heads up,
Next
just
to
give a
date,
heads
within
up,
2
2
days.
days, 3 days, whatever.
2
Yeah.
days, so.
at least
You know,
2
I don't know how
days,
weather works, so
Yeah,
they'll
Yeah.
do whatever they can do accurately.
at least 2 days,
okay,
I
not a
think.
problem.
Come on, God, get that bridge open.
Me too.
So
Well, it doesn't make
consensus?
sense, yeah, it doesn't make sense to leave it
Yes.
closed for 3 weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
And now I'm gonna give you something I want you to think about.
So wait a minute, for the record, the Board of Selectmen said keep consensuses forward, say keep
Johnny?
it open.
All right,
Johnny?
yes.
He'd have been back there.
I had a guy come to me yesterday. He said in 1976, when they opened the bridge, the town tax collector in Northfield, who was Wanda Jordan at the time, was the first one to drive across the bridge. And she's either 88 or 89. You know Wanda Jordan.
I do.
Yeah.
And he would like her to be the first one to drive across the bridge when we officially open it at the pavement.
Does she
Well,
still
you know,
have her
by God,
driver's
I think-
He
license?
still drives.
Okay.
Can we have a to-do? Can we have,
And she looks 16.
Seriously? Oh.
can we have a to-do, like, you
He
know?
doesn't drive like.
Whatever you want.
Fireworks.
Yeah,
Well, that's.
Sirens, can we have the, like the,
Reservoir
like-
Road?
like the fire engine?
the fire trucks with their ladder.
With the ladder and the big flag?
Probably that's not something Wanda would like, but.
Why
I guess
not?
you do what
I
you
think
want.
she-
I think
Well,
that's fabulous
Wanda's not
idea.
that type of person, is she?
No, she's
She
great.
doesn't like,
Costs money to bring out the fire trucks.
I
Okay.
haven't asked her,
I think.
and actually, I'm gonna ask her daughter, who evidently they're working right by her daughter's house anyway, Patty. If that story I got was true, that was my,
Well, find out, but it certainly works for me.
at that time, she was a tax collector in Northfield.
Well, she does drive like Doc Kenyon used to drive.
Not Wanda.
Look at the.
Did you see that black Falcon coming down the road, you just get up, turn a corner and pull in the driveway.
No,
Once a
So you
month.
didn't like my survey?
I love your
I love
survey,
your
I thought it
survey.
was fabulous. We needed levity.
Tell Catherine to take over for a minute.
Catherine, would you please take over the running of the meeting
And,
as per Ms. Constantino's request?
Sure.
and,
Is there anything else you'd like from us, sir?
No, I'd like to get home, Joe, I got a steak on the grill as we speak.
It's overcooking, Donnie. Go for it, buddy.
Pat's already got it.
Yeah.
I'm following you. We don't need to put a blurb in the paper saying it's gonna be closed again, just so people will
Nope.
just know.
They're gonna spot it the minute they drive by.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you explain to me what the signs that whoever hung on the Park Street lights there that's so confusing?
What's it
Did you
say?
see that? It's something about oncoming traffic has delayed green.
Oh, you'll have to ask State about that, I have
And
no idea.
everybody just
I haven't
like
even seen
sits
it.
there and goes,
If you're
well,
going down,
which way?
you're going down through the main street, you got 8 seconds to get across the road.
8 seconds to get across
Huh?
the road.
It's not very much.
Well, no, that's why traffic is so backed up. Because cars sit there and
Hey,
say,
let me
"Does
tell
this
you
mean
why
I go ahead
traffic
and
is
make my
backed up
left-hand
and you
turn?"
don't wanna hear this.
We're on camera.
I don't care.
All right.
If the police
No,
department
no.
was to go down there and flag them school buses through there, you get 4 buses go through a green light. Cause they gotta pull up, open the door, look both directions, all that. 4 turns
The
red.
railroad tracks. They gotta-
If a policeman stood there and flagged all them buses straight through, you wouldn't have traffic back to Dairy Queen, traffic back down to Park Street store,
Well, the other problem is
in
there's
the morning
people
and
that make,
afternoon.
it says
Well,
when
that
you wanna
sounds
take a right-hand
Real
turn,
smart.
Huh?
people
sounds
don't
like a
honor
smart-
that
The only way
no
they can
right
drive
turn
through
on
there is
red.
have a
I
policeman
sat
flag
there
them
and
through.
counted them one day while I was sitting there waiting to make my
But that
left-hand turn
happens
on Park
all
Street.
year
It's like-
long, when the school starts. You get 17 buses leave that high school in 25 minutes of 3. And the backup starts, because there's only 4 that can get through one green light.
Check, see, Department of Safety will let them go if directed by police.
You
Stop on
can,
the
if
track.
you have traffic control, they can flag them through the lights.
Yep, they used to.
When Pete Bazinski was here, 45 years ago,
Well, enforce the no right turn on red. That's what really
longer than
screws.
that.
if he's flagging traffic, he can flag them through there.
Oh, yeah. If he's flagging traffic. He can
He can make it, he can send them down Park Street.
Okay, I thought it was just because Cannon Bridge was closed and everybody had to use Park Street. Because it has been nasty.
But I tell you what,
Nastier than usual,
if the
certainly, but
school
it's
started, if
nasty.
they'd gone down
No
there
matter
and
what,
took care of
after
all that
school.
with the
Right.
school buses, you
Okay.
would have never had this, it would have, you're not gonna alleviate the whole problem, you've got guys going to work, people getting out of work, but you're gonna, when you've got that many school buses,
The buses are hold up. I never go by the high school around closing time.
Donnie,
because
that is a good
Gonna happen.
suggestion.
Jesus, I finally done something right.
We didn't say that, Tony.
She did.
Yeah, so
No.
now your blood pressure can go down
Might
and
not
their blood
happen
pressure
again.
goes up.
I don't have any trouble with my blood pressure.
Okay.
I'm
That's a good
75
suggestion.
years old and it's perfect.
I think they should have you in that car with Wanda driving the bridge.
I don't think so. She
How about
can-
sit on the hood?
She can take care of it all by herself. She might have a little son Tommy and
So
Your
you're
little
will,
son Tommy.
you'll let them over in Northfield know that we concur with your idea of having her drive?
I haven't even spoke to him about it yet.
Well,
Oh, all right.
we're all
You're the
about it.
first one on the hook. I said, if
Wasn't that
I said,
noise?
if I get by you guys, I'm all set.
You know it's
I think
so.
I guess
We're
that's
gonna put
true.
that on
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Yep.
Let the
Yeah,
record
yeah.
show.
All right.
Consensus of
Yes, you have a yes from the
Yes.
Board of Selectmen in Tilton.
Yeah.
Well, let me out of here then.
You better go on.
Go on,
I got
get it
you-
good.
When I get you to agree with me for 2 things in a row, I'm not pushing it any farther.
You're lucky it's not a full moon.
Huh? It's gonna be.
Super.
You're lucky it's not a full moon.
I'll
Why
find
can't
you.
Super.
Thanks, Johnny.
All right, so you shouldn't have to see me again involved in anything with bridge construction, should I?
Well, we're gonna have a final report, are we not?
I can if you want.
Sure.
Closure,
I love closure.
closure.
Okay.
We're done.
We'd miss you.
You know, you probably missed a toothache too, don't you?
I just wish we'd had you for the High Street Bridge.
All right.
I wish I'd been there for the High Street bid, you wouldn't have them scars all up and
Oh,
down that
not
thing.
High Street, Pine
Department of
Street.
Public Works,
Pine Street.
budget discussion, front and center.
How'd I do, Dennis?
You did all right, Donnie. Atta boy.
Want them up and let them go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he
I
does.
got them all ready for you, Johnny.
Night, Johnny.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Just fine. How are you doing, Mr. Van Tassel?
Joyce, this time
Busy,
again.
Dennis worked my butt off today.
Good.
Got your name on it.
I know.
And how are you doing, Mr.
Good, good.
You're looking good. You're looking pretty relaxed.
Well, for right now.
Right.
You have a budget for us? Proposed.
Well, we were just told, not the budget, but the,
Oh, we're
budget
just
for
gonna
the-
have a discussion?
on
It
the,
says budget discussion, all right.
Capital reserve.
That's budget.
Okay,
it is budget, so.
Well,
equipment plans.
Yeah. Probably road plans, 10-year plan.
anything
That's
changing?
budget. So you have new things going on, old things coming off.
On the equipment plan, yes, yes, that is correct. John made up a list, a new list into what, John? 21,
Copies of your
23?
list.
Yeah, we're up to 29.
29, 2029,
Oh,
as far as equipment replacement.
Have we, are we doing all our paving projects this year?
As far as I know, yeah.
what does that leave us with in the roads and bridges fund?
That's all separate, Joe. That's a separate warrant article.
I understand that, but what's left in the fund, you know?
Don't we have,
If you don't know, you don't know.
Right now, in the equipment fund,
In the roads and bridges.
we have a report, do we not?
Yeah, and it's in your last,
That we got,
expenditure
did we get it
report.
last
you have
week?
$290,245.
And
Does
Right
that
now.
reflect the
Okay.
payment?
Right now.
Does
That
that count
is-
our additional
That is
65?
not,
We've got bills coming.
that is not with the 65 that's going to be applied this year.
Yeah,
So you have a total of 355,200.
But who payment we just authorized?
$200.
We just authorized the payment from that to Piper, didn't we?
Right.
We
Now-
did.
Include
Now
that?
excluding, okay,
Okay.
and I'm using an estimate of 125 for the bridge portion. The road projects are gonna be 50,970. The police station is 14,500. So that would leave you an end balance in the capital reserve for roads of $164,730.45.
Right.
so how does that set us up for next year?
We'll have to sit
Okay.
down and discuss what projects are gonna get done.
Okay, I want to go further,
Yeah,
okay? So we're starting off at the end of this year, after all the projects are paid for, with $164,730, okay? So I went 6 years out. If we continue on applying the 65,000 in the warrant article for roads and bridges, okay? That will give us the $390,000 plus the 164,730 from a balance of 2015. So you would come up with a grand total of 554,730.45.
so let me ask you a question.
What year?
Let me just go one more. Through 2021, John, okay? Estimating that you spend $85,000 per year for this next 6 years, okay? That would cost you $510,000. So you had 554,730 minus the 510, that would leave you a balance of 44,720 at the end of 2021 if you only applied the 65,000 that we have been doing through the warrant article, okay?
In 2021, what's it starting to look like? We've still got lots of roads to do, yeah.
Yes, you do, John, okay? Now, another scenario. If, starting in 2016, through 2021, okay?
Me too.
We have a balance of $164,730, okay? If you take the warrant article at $65,000 per year for 6 years, and you use the block grant money, okay, that we are supposed to be using, okay, which right now is about $61,000, that's gonna give you a total of $126,000 per year for 6 years. That gives you $756,000, okay, out of the block grant and the warrant article for the next 6 years. Plus the 164 that was left over, now you're up to $920,730. Minus using the 85,000 every year for 6 years, which is 510. That would give you a balance at the end of 2021 of $410,730. What you have to look at, okay, you're saying, oh, that's going to be an exorbitant amount, but in 55 years, 60 years, we have done nothing on that box culvert, okay, on Chestnut Street. 60 years, there's been nothing done to that, okay? We also have a box culvert on Academy Street that has had nothing done to it in 60, 70 years.
Does that run diagonally across the road?
Yes, it does. So, you know, you look at it and you think, oh, we got 410, but what if something happened to either one of those bridges? At least you're gonna have money to be able to support the project. If you don't go that way, okay, the 44 isn't gonna do nothing.
I understand, we'll have to raise taxes.
Bond.
Why would you raise taxes?
Or bond, well, if we're just gonna take the block grant money and automatically shift it into the roads and bridges.
Right.
Currently, that block grant money is a remittance to the town, and it goes into the general fund, we use it. So that money would have to be replaced for regular expenditures, so we would have, the money's gotta come from somewhere. We're using the money from the block grant. Granted, it doesn't go into your roads specifically, but we use it. And that money would have to be replaced if we used it for that and not whatever we're using it for now. It does have to be replaced.
You know, this conversation is a plan. We're talking about a plan.
That's right.
But when we don't do roads, it changes. When we're able to do more than we normally do, it changes.
And I
so
gave
this
you
is
a
plan.
legitimate estimate
Yep,
of what I thought
Yep.
we should
that we
do.
should expend
Yep.
for the next 6 years, okay? 1 year it might be less, next year maybe a little more,
That's right.
okay?
But
Okay.
we're
I
gonna
took
spend
that-
85
I
a
took
year
that
over that
as an
time.
average.
Look
That's
at the
correct.
bridge
That's
we're
right.
doing now. You know,
Right. Right, right.
probably should have been done by the state, but we still
Yeah.
do it.
Well, for
In
years.
quite a few years.
Who'd have thought?
Right,
So
Yeah.
it changes,
Yeah.
but it's always been a good plan of yours.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the vehicles, which will have much more of an effect. Since we don't have do we have a capital reserve for these vehicles?
We do. 35,000 a year.
It isn't in our expenditure report, Joyce, the reserve fund.
That's a warrant article.
How much money is
Oh,
in
you mean
that
our
fund?
capital
Oh,
reserve?
in that fund, very minimal.
I don't know, but he
Very
didn't print
minimal.
it in this
35 grand.
expenditure report.
Was it in
Less
his,
than that, less
in
than
his
that.
report to the board?
Yeah,
I-
we bought it
I-
like
It was a
That's
separate
right,
sheet
yeah.
we
Okay,
got.
was it from last week?
I think it was the week before.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's all right, we don't need it for this
Oh, we
discussion.
bought the back.
We'll
That's
have to
what
look
we
at
got.
it then.
Yeah.
No mortgages on anything.
So,
It's dirty.
It's done.
so,
That backhoe is awfully dirty.
okay, let's not talk about it.
So have all the trucks, but they're good.
So, did
Can
you
we
get
stay
a
on
copy
task?
of this, what they're looking at?
It's right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Always make sure that Gail and I get copies.
These all went.
There are
We've
copies.
got plenty, all right.
Because we don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
Vehicle replacement report.
Yeah. Next,
These are all our existing public works
And Tim
vehicles.
that
won.
is,
All of them,
that's right.
everything we
He
got.
probably has one.
Yeah,
Any trailers?
Tim might have made this.
that's very minor.
I said all.
You said it, driving equipment.
I said
Driving
vehicles.
Vehicles. Yeah.
Well, don't we have a roller, power roller?
We do.
For sidewalks?
Right, right.
Where's that?
That's not on there,
Okay.
okay? It doesn't need to be replaced, John. Okay,
Well, that's fine.
all right?
So the 2008, you're looking to go to 2022.
Correct. Yeah. But as,
So your guesstimate is 40,000.
right, for the work truck, forward drive, and 22, 45,000.
What did we pay for it?
What did we pay for it in 2008?
What did we pay for it in 2008?
27,000.
That's probably, well, not bad, thank goodness.
Okay.
It's his life.
But I do suggest that we increase, okay, from 35 after next year to the 40.
Cover the cost of the
2017?
90.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The truck 11 has got 22,000 miles on it, it's 4 years old. The 550 has got maybe 6,000 miles, that's 2 years old. The 90 International's got about 73,000 miles. The 99 has got about 49,000. And the trackless, that's an hour meeting. I'm not sure on that, the backhoe's no.
The Peterbilt.
Peterbilt's got 15,000. Approximately.
These are words that's gonna make me look bad.
No. Step right in, John.
And we
No, I'm talking
really,
about memory.
Oh,
we really need these three big dump trucks.
yes, you do.
Mhm.
Yes.
For plowing.
Yes.
I know for plowing, I know what they're for.
Yeah. Those trucks there, well, look at the 90.
You can subcontract a plow
Look,
truck.
look at the
Oh.
90, okay? And look how many years you've got out of that truck,
Yeah,
okay?
that's it.
Depreciate it and tell me what it's costing you per hour to run that truck. Minimum.
Yeah, but look at the cost of replacement. Ouch.
Yeah. Another 30 years.
Ouch.
Another 30 years. Yeah.
So what is that truck worth when you sell it?
If we, in 2019, I'll bet you that the town would receive, if it's kept in the same condition that it's in right now, okay? It's $15,000 truck. Anyways, without the sander. Without the sander.
We could use the sander in the new truck, though, in theory.
You can, yes, you can, yes. And my suggestion would be,
And the
because
plows.
we put a body on that a couple, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and my suggestion would be, when it was retrofit for the 90, that can be taken off and put on the 99, take the body off the 99 and put it on the 90, install that.
Yeah. Perfect.
How old was our sidewalk plow that we,
Oh,
that we
Bombardier,
yeah,
the track, oh man, I don't know.
I bet it was older than you plan on this being.
Yeah.
Was it? It was an antique, I have to admit.
It was old, yeah, yeah.
And you're suggesting replacement. Now, we have attachments for the trackless, do we not?
We do.
Are you suggesting replacing those as well, or just the main machine?
What I would suggest would be, okay, there's another dealer in town, okay, that supplies chains, bearings, items like that for snowplows.
Yes.
For sanders. They also have, okay, They get used stuff in, that people, that they take and trade for their new stuff that they sell, okay? And right now, he has a snow blower that will go on our MT5 trackless. The same as ours. The augers are in good shape, the bearings are in good shape, housing's done up a little bit, drive gear's good, chute's good, $750.
What's wrong with the one we got?
Nothing.
Nothing, but you
Ah,
got an opportunity to
yet.
buy a
So you
Let
replacement.
me
So you didn't walk
tell you,
or,
you take the
Something that should be there.
drivetrain out of that, okay? It'll be a lot more than $750.
Yeah.
And you're gonna
So
be
you're
down.
suggesting that we buy the whole the whole unit?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I thought it
Yes,
was just
yes.
just the auger.
No, no, it's the
No.
whole unit,
Oh,
the
yeah,
push
yeah, yeah.
Set it
frame,
aside for.
everything, right.
It's worth that in parts for our machine.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you would be
You
down,
swap it out,
if
test if
the
it happens.
drive went in that blower, okay, you would be down, I would guarantee you probably for 3 to 4 weeks. Before you got all the parts, okay, then what are you gonna do for a machine to do those sidewalks?
You'd have subcontract, which would cost
A
about the
lo-
same amount.
A lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
I don't even know. Who do you subcontract for a sidewalk?
You'd have to rent one.
Northfield.
You'd have to-
Yeah.
I don't think there's, I
Johnny
really,
drove to Northfield
they wouldn't do it,
for
they couldn't do
They
it.
wouldn't have time,
First of all, I don't think you could do it, Catherine.
no?
No, not over
They would kill
93.
their machine.
No way, no way.
Their machine is smaller?
A lot smaller.
I don't think it would do it. It takes,
Well,
Northfield doesn't have the amount of sidewalks that Tilton has. And when you go out and snow blow it, it takes you like 3 to 4 hours.
But I thought that was a good
should
deal.
we make a serious inquiry on this piece of equipment?
Absolutely. We have to talk and see
I really
if we've
think
got
so.
money,
Can you-
but if we've got money, I think
Mhm.
that would be money in the bank.
Oh, I do too, I do.
Even-
Because
we
over the
want
last
them-
few years,
Do we want to authorize them to purchase it?
we have to make sure there's money. Do we not?
Verify that from Tim.
$750?
But we did.
I'll loan it to the town.
Joe,
I don't think it
Joe,
works. Maybe he's there.
Joe,
No, he
There's
isn't.
money.
I had to go in my office, he's not
Say what
there.
now?
there's money in the account, okay?
I can't take your word for it. It's not that I don't trust you.
Look at the
I
expenditure.
want to hear the finance
Look
guy
at the
say it.
expenditure.
I always
report.
do, I always do.
Have Joyce pull it up on the item.
Always
right here.
do.
340,
I've got it,
340, tell me how much money's in there.
I've got it.
I'm saying is, we've expended,
You take it out of my selectmen's
$2,200,
stipend if there isn't enough.
$2,300, okay? And there's $7,300 in there. How much have we expended through August?
Well, I'm just looking at,
340.
I wish sanitation wasn't in highway.
340 and 345.
You're only 61.875% spent, or what? Almost 3/4 of the year, should be 75. I think the $750 in
340,
highway.
3,600,
I'm pretty positive there is.
85, and 45, 73, and we spent 940. So I think we've got money.
And all your blades and everything, all your edges.
No, there's some that we've got to buy, John, but
That's not very.
that's not going to,
Equipment. Equipment maintenance and repairs is only 43% spent.
right.
You could,
This stuff that we've got, but the 750 would not
your
affect.
miscellaneous expenses is only 15%, there's your money.
The what?
Okay.
Your miscellaneous expenses is only 15%.
Yeah, but that's not equipment.
We can
No.
transfer money from that into
I
your,
He's
don't-
got money in equipment.
I got
Yes,
money
he's
in equipment.
I'm just saying, there's
Yeah,
money all
yeah,
over in that.
yeah.
Look at the bottom line,
Yeah.
so I'll make a motion to authorize an expenditure of 750
Isn't that what Arthur
That's what he
said?
said.
Yeah, yeah.
for the purchase of the used
Uh-huh.
snow blower attachment
For the sidewalk machine.
for the
Trackless?
trackless
For the
sidewalk
trackless,
plow.
Right.
Second.
So.
Any more
We're
discussion?
buying, she just said we were buying an attachment. I thought you said we were buying the whole unit.
Well, it attaches
It
to
detaches and attaches.
the sidewalk
You
machine.
can have a snow plow on it or a snow
all the
blowers.
snow
So
blowers.
the drive thing is part of the attachment?
That is correct.
Okay,
That's right.
okay,
The framework, the drive,
yep,
the augers.
all right.
I think Arthur told me there was no shoes on the sidewalk, on the blower, but that's no problem.
That's
Okay. They're
ours.
interchangeable,
Yeah.
okay?
So
We're gonna have to get some for ours anyways this year, so, yeah.
So just make absolutely certain it fits, and
Yeah,
it's
oh,
what
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
they say it is.
Yeah, we'll bring it down and try it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, opposed? Abstentions? Go forward and purchase, that was a good find.
Yeah, Arthur found it.
Yeah, it's up,
Team Eagle.
it's right up there on 132, Team Eagle.
Are we in line to do all of our paving projects this year?
Yeah, I believe so. I went and checked out the problems that we were talking about last week. I did dig safe them. The only thing with the Ridge Road, I'll start there. It's just the culvert that's perfect, it's beautiful. It just got a little bit of material on the outlet side, needs to be cleaned up, all set. And on Westwood, I'm not 100% sure what we thought was going on is going on. What I'm gonna do is I'll dig safe, because we're gonna reclaim the road anyway. I'm gonna go up on Monday and go
Is everything okay?
below where I think the problem may be, if there is one, because of the wetness, and start uncovering the culvert up to where it dries out
Oh,
and find out.
Westwood is where the water was coming through.
Yeah, and I looked at that, there is a hole, because it's dry right now, going underneath the road, but it's not uncommon for water to find its way under the road and squirt back out. So I can't guarantee that that's the problem. But I'll just uncover it, because we plan on really reclaiming the road, I'll just uncover the pipe, dig down beside of it, check it out. If it's all good, it's all good. If I find that it's broken or collapsed, I'll replace a 10-foot section and it's ready to roll, because Dennis and I both looked at it. The inlet side and the outlet side are perfect. The
There's
outlet
no-
side has been hit by a flail mower, but
There's
it's
no
not
rust,
rotted or anything.
it's rot, there's no rot showing either end. And that's generally, you can tell that if the pipe is rotted, each end will be rotted. Erosion, I'm not erosion, but corrosion, okay, they'll be rotted.
Westwood.
Okay.
You can tell.
You can tell. Neither end is fine, okay?
Is that where the property owner, did they bury the culvert, did they,
No,
is that what that,
no,
no driveway permit?
no.
No, that's done.
That's done. Okay. Thank you for
And
looking.
just like John said, the driveway on Ridge, okay? The intentions was to do, we have a catch basin there, but we're always having a problem with two of the people just below the catch basin. One of their portion of the driveway is paved, the other one is not, and they're steep. So the intention was to put a culvert in there. And when we get up there, work the swale, so all that material is not coming out into the road like it has for the last 2 or 3 years. And for us to put I don't think it's the responsibility of the landowner or the resident to put the culvert in, because there was never a culvert there. So we're gonna put the culvert in, okay, so we can control the water. Okay? The cross culvert that goes across on the upper side of that is, I looked at that, same thing, no corrosion whatsoever on the pipe. The outlet side of the pipe, okay, yes, it's gotta be dug out so the water will flow a little more smoothly. There is some silt in the pipe, okay? I've talked to Johnny about possibly hooking up some kind of device where we can clean the pipes, okay? With a tank, put it in the truck, pressurize it, okay? Blow some of these out, okay? But I wanted to reiterate about that, okay? Because that was brought up about me, okay? Saying that, we'll cut the road next year and do that, okay?
No.
That was mentioned last week's in the meeting, which I didn't appreciate, okay? And another thing last.
And that was different.
And that is different, that's correct. And the next thing is, it was also mentioned in the meeting last week, okay, that the
You
chief.
watched our meeting?
Huh?
Did you watch our meeting?
I most certainly did,
Great,
okay?
all right.
Also was mentioned, okay, that, does the highway people understand that spark plugs should be torqued? Okay?
I must have missed that
Well,
comment. but-
It was said, okay? Let me explain, okay? The last time the chief's car had spark plugs put in it, it was not done by the highway department. It was done by AutoServe. And yes, we do understand and we're very knowledgeable that what things have to be torqued, okay? Furthermore.
You're looking at me, but I
Furthermore,
didn't say that.
I know you didn't, but the guy that did say was sitting beside you.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
He's not.
And furthermore, the spark plug did not blow out of the cylinder.
What happened? What is the issue with that?
Okay? The end of the electrode on the inside that fires, okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pushes the piston down,
Yeah, yeah.
that broke off.
That little.
That's correct.
Oh,
That broke off. Right,
That's
broke
an
off.
act of God. That's a
Broke
faulty
off.
piece, man.
Right. So what happens is, there's no escape. That's in there. Okay?
Heard it was welded to the cylinder.
So we took our camera, we bought a camera, okay, and we can go down in that cylinder. But it's not like I'm looking at you people, okay? And we did notice that the cylinder was scorn, okay? How severe? You don't know until you pull the head off of it, okay? But we did put a plug back in it. First of all, we blew it out, put the magnet in there, we took pictures of it, okay? We blew it all out, and we said, hopefully maybe we grabbed it. Well, when we put the plug back in, started her up, we knew that we didn't get it, okay? Because it hammered pretty hard,
How would you know?
okay?
Yeah.
All right, but, it's just a suggestion, okay? That car's got 160,000 miles on it. It's in great shape, other than the motor, okay? If you probably took it to AutoServe, you'd probably spend, just an estimate, well, just doing the cylinder wall, okay, owning the cylinder, maybe putting new rings on that piston, maybe $2,300-$2,400, okay?
You can't get through the door without spending 500.
Right. So, my
That
suggestion.
car is not worth $2,500, is it?
Now, my suggestion, we have a 206 down there, okay? That the engine's got 120,000. Runs good, okay?
I thought you guys had pillaged that car for parts.
Oh, there's two
pieces.
down there.
Oh.
Two engines. There's one way up back,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And there's one down by the spreader shed.
Yep.
That one there we haven't demolished as bad as the one up top, okay?
No, that one's pretty bad.
Okay? So my suggestion would be, take the motor out of the 6, which everything is the same as the Chief's car is, because that's a 2006. And it's got 120,000 miles on it,
Why is it down there?
because of the body, rusted bad, okay?
Really?
Yeah. Put that in the Chief's car,
What does that cost?
Labor?
Labor.
labor. You're already paying labor.
I understand
You're already
that.
paying labor to
But there's
Arthur.
still a cost to it. And if it takes them 10 hours, I just wondered what it would cost.
I would say, Joe,
6
that,
hours?
no, by the time you take 2 motors out and put one back in, use that for 30 hours. Okay? $900.
It's gonna be a
That's
lot
how-
cheaper,
that's how-
cheaper than, yeah.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
nothing is free. I just was
Right,
wondering,
right,
and
right.
$900 is more than reasonable.
More than reasonable.
And that gives the chief a good, solid, dependable car
It will
within
give- it
the
will
act
give-
of God
it will give
parameters.
him, I
It'll
would say
give us
another
another
40,000
car.
miles, Joe,
Do we have
But
a
he
list?
travels 2,500
Do we
miles
have, but
a month.
it's a way to keep, to not deplete our fleet. Do we have a list
Right.
of the existing police vehicles and their mileage?
Then my suggestion would be, once the chief got a new car, if it's this year or next year, okay, then that car, it's not black and white, it's blue, it's still in good shape, that should come to the town hall.
Don't
That
the
should be their
detectives
car.
have a newer vehicle with fewer miles?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is quite a bit.
Yeah,
Then why couldn't the cars be swapped? Because they're not typically frontline, right?
Is
No,
it-
but they
what's
go
it under
code, we
police
all go
mileage?
code 3. You know,
Well,
we're all-
everybody does, but,
Yeah, I mean, we're all responding to emergencies. They're as busy as I am. I mean,
but not as often.
Well, lately
they're
they
act-
have been
yeah,
because
they're
they've been
responding
covering
to
schedules.
Code 3 more than
Right.
I am. I'd rather have them have the newer.
So we need the list of vehicles with mileage on
It's
it.
on that.
So we need,
That's a good idea.
what's it
Dennis.
under, chief? Is it under, is it
Should
under
we,
PD miles?
Should we have them go forward and switch engines? in the
Uh,
vehicle?
I'd say that's well, I hate to use the term no-brainer, but that seems like the logical way to go and the least expensive way out of this issue.
Right.
Because nowhere, I mean, if it costs $1,000, frou-frou parts and pieces or whatever on top of the $800-900 it's gonna be for Arthur, that sounds like a doer.
exactly. Plus, we have other parts, okay,
Yeah.
off the chief's car
That engine.
that would still fit on the other car.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fits the car.
Everything.
So if
Exhaust
you got-
manifolds, bell
If
house,
you've got
everything.
room for the junkyard you're creating up there.
Well, once the junkyard, once the engines are out,
Then send them all.
the junkyard is gonna be cleaned out.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
You're gonna strip it and ship them? Yeah.
Strip them and ship them.
He puts them in a strange place.
John, what's the weekly mileage report one that we, police cruiser?
Thanks. That's what- That's the.
All right, so we have a 10A, we have a 4A, we have a 3A, a 3B, a 13D, 6B, C, and D. Now the B is out, right? No, that's yours.
Yeah, the season.
The C is out,
Seats on the garage, that's the motor we're gonna take out.
and the
that's-
6D is out. The 6D was the chief's. That's out right now, and the 11. Where's the 14 here? It's not listed.
We need
This
to
is
have,
January.
we need to have a list of all the vehicles. This is
Will they-
more work.
Wait a
And
minute.
we can figure that out next week, once we get the car switched. How soon would you have time to do this?
I would say after Arthur gets done. Johnny, you know, step right in, buddy,
We
don't,
still have.
okay?
No, you're doing fine.
You
There's no
know,
14 here, there's
I would
nothing.
say
So
after
where the
we
hell is it?
replace, we've got the air tank, we had to buy an air tank for Freddie's truck, okay? That operates the brakes, just.
Oh, this is
rusted,
2014.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, right out through the tank,
Yeah.
okay?
I don't know, drop the plows.
Yeah.
Something you get in the
We probably got a day left on that, getting everything hooked up, adjusted.
Okay, where is it, Selectmen's dashboard?
I'm looking.
So here's 2A, here's 2A, 3.
So we'd start next week. Yeah.
Here's 5, 3,
Yeah.
Me too.
6, 7.
At police cruiser logs, maintenance
8,
logs.
9.
Do it. I don't think we need a motion, do we?
For what?
Make a motion that we switch the engine from the car that's currently sitting at the Public Works Department and put it into the chief's car.
Second,
Oh, that's 2014.
Madam Chair.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Yeah,
We haven't got them.
it's hard to
Okay, yeah,
You'll see
nothing
this
else.
is
We take one of these,
They're having discussion.
take one of these.
I wanna know one of these. I
And
know.
make a list.
No, it's right here. We have a 5A, a 4A, a 3A, a 3B, a 13D, 11, a 10, a 6B, and a 6D, and the 6B is down.
No, I don't,
You do.
And the
She's got it.
16
We
is
have
I
a
down.
don't watch, they don't come to me.
Look at, under
Yeah.
PD vehicle maintenance log, they're in there.
Because
Oh, that's
she's
good.
the liaison.
And you have Brian's car.
It's not because I'm a liaison, everybody's got this.
I have okay, so
But look at the date.
the last time you did anything to me was July 2014, September 2014, and July.
Refresh it. I'm looking at 7/26,
Last time they
2000.
did anything for me was July 2014.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
It doesn't, I don't get it.
August 9th,
It doesn't come
2015.
to this, it never
So
has.
the last
I've
time
said
I
that
have
before.
it is
It-
August 9th, 2015.
Yeah, it's shared, it's a shared document.
So the 5 as of July, right now, the 4A has 1641 as, in July, so the whole month of August. So,
I transferred more money
all right,
this year.
I'd like the chief's opinion on this before we make a vote.
Well, we need the vehicle regardless of what we,
I
there's no
know
sense
that
in
you-
having
well,
two down.
you
So if
know-
we switch the motor, we have a vehicle.
Okay, so let's talk to the highway department about the police chief's vehicle, and the police chief's sitting here, and we're not asking his opinion. Okay,
That's a different
let's
topic.
vote.
It's a different topic. Why would we not fix this vehicle?
Get it?
And then we can figure out with the chief where we
Go
use
for-
it.
Yeah.
It's a two-part, I see it as a two-part thing.
All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Ayes have it.
Can we clarify that, please, to switch engines?
Switch engines.
From the 6B,
See.
from the 6C to the chief's vehicle,
Yeah,
which is the 6D,
right.
all right?
Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna talk about how we're gonna
Just
use it.
one more thing on that. Can he switch out the thing so he gets an odometer reading to it,
The cluster.
cluster?
Right.
Yeah, I know. It was
The
the
whole
cluster of the
cluster's
sending
gotta
unit.
come up, right.
It's a pain.
So that can't be
We
done.
can get the
Oh,
mileage,
yeah,
we
you
go on
can.
with our,
Oh, you
You
never
can
put
take
it
the
on the
cluster
reports.
out, I've done that in the vehicle. It's
We
just a
can get
matter
the
of
mileage
reconnecting
when we do
wires
it with our
back up in the right
scan.
place.
Well,
Right.
if you do it,
Right.
transfer them over so that the chief's car doesn't always read 0 up. Then we can see how the miles.
Whatever.
Write it on the
Cluster.
slip as you
Cluster.
repair it.
Or-
yeah, the cluster, I don't know about the cluster and the car that's there at the highway department, how good it is, okay? But, yes, if we can, we will.
You switch stuff like that around all the time, pieces and parts.
Right, right. Yeah.
I don't have anything in here
Thank
for
you very much.
2000.
I had to go into,
We went into drive.
I went into police cruiser logs.
Yep, right there.
And then I had to scroll in and see the latest, 8/9/2015 was the last one, had it in its way down.
Whoa.
Got it? No?
My finger.
Missed the meeting the other night.
Sucked it up.
I did,
Sucked it
did
up.
something come up I
Sucked it
couldn't get
up.
out of.
Got it?
I think
Unfortunately.
I do, thank
How
you.
did it work out?
I think I do.
All right, so
Which is the most recent?
Good.
the 8/9/2015,
Okay, look at that. Thank you.
all right?
It did, once I get in there and refreshed it, it sucked it up.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so, what's next? Sorry, I'm coming in half of the conversation here, so I don't know what I've covered.
We talked with them about the vehicle
Trackless.
replacement. We talked about some bridges,
Capital
which I,
reserve- capital reserve
yeah,
for roads
which
and
I had a
bridges?
few more
Yeah.
questions on. And we talked about paving, highway trust money.
Did you bring your budget?
No, this was just gonna be a discussion, I asked that too.
And
How
who
many
goes in-
culverts
This wasn't gonna be just a discussion.
is a
We
department?
asked you to bring
DPW
the
budget
framework of the
discussion.
budget. Yeah,
That would be much my fault then. I thought it was just the,
Our agenda says discussion.
sorry to inform you, but you're fired.
How many, when you were
That ain't
talking about
happening.
box culverts, Academy Chestnut, was there a third?
No, we've done Pine and we've done High. No, those are the last two in the town because we diverted the property back to the road end, right, on Route 3 there by the causeway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it's not ours.
That's not ours.
That's not ours.
There's no box culverts, Silver River Church.
Oh, those are state
That's
class
state
two.
noise, yeah. Nothing on Califf. No, that's it.
What about Academy Street? That is.
We did. We said Academy
Academy
and
and
Chestnut.
Chestnut.
Right.
Do
Right.
we have, that's part of our reserve, is bridges?
Yes, yes, that is included in the roads. Right.
So did you include those in your reserve estimates? Repairing those at some point?
Have I? No, I have not.
Can you look at that?
Have I looked at them? No, I have not. Still put a little water in them. Okay?
Any chance before you leave,
Yep,
if you can?
yep. Yeah, the one,
Or give Johnny an idea of
Yeah,
what it is that you're gonna maintain and
but there is a bridge, there is a box culvert under Route 3 by the water office that's close to the river. which is
That's
not-
theirs.
That's the state's, that's correct. Right, remember?
When you're, yeah, but when you're including the box, you're including the open box that goes from Academy to Route 3? Goes,
No, that's not a box.
well,
That's
It's
a
a
culvert,
brook,
right?
it's a brook.
but it's concreted, it's a concrete
It
brook.
just doesn't have a top to it.
That, right, and I think if you look at that, you'd have to look into that. Did the garage, is that the Chances or Stafford's? Do they own that?
I hope so,
Okay?
or maybe the little building.
You mean the trough in between them?
Yeah. There's a concrete wall there.
I thought we discussed this long ago, about 5 years ago, when Sandy was here, and we looked into it, and that was, at the time, LaChance. And that was their issue. Remember when Packer Briggs,
We had some
Well,
problems with that.
that
and it
Packer,
was clogged up.
it was clogged up, and that,
And back
and we
up,
couldn't
yeah.
touch it because that wasn't ours.
I hope not.
And also,
We have
there's a
to
little
look back into
portion
it.
under the water company,
Yeah,
corner of their building,
Right.
there's a footing in a wall there.
yeah,
Right,
Right.
right.
you
yeah,
can't,
Right,
okay.
yeah. So.
Is that undermined at all, that wall, or is it filled in?
No, the wall that's abutting Stafford's now seems to look pretty good, Joe, okay?
Just looks awful.
There's no bottom on it, right? It's just-
No, it's just on a, sets
So
on
it
a
is-
foot.
And it's filled up above.
That's a
the
concrete
water.
bottom. To it.
In that brook? No,
No?
no.
Yeah, I think,
I thought in
It's
that
just
particular location there was. I thought it was a box culvert
I'd have to
on the
look
top.
again.
I think.
I don't
know.
know. I'd have to look.
I thought,
Few
I
years.
thought,
Yeah,
Been
yeah.
a few years.
because I looked at it last spring
It's
when
not all
Packer Brook was.
undermined or
sold.
anything like
No,
that. I
no,
don't,
no.
just remember clogging that.
So are you also looking at the end of the year and expenses that we could possibly cover under the end of the year instead of next year?
Well, while you were out, Pat, okay,
We went shopping.
we went
We went
shopping.
shopping.
Right.
You didn't tell me that.
No, we didn't, but it was
What did we
3-0. It was a 3-0 vote.
Eagle One up here on 132, which is a dealer in snow plow equipment,
Yeah.
snow removal equipment,
Yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
When Arthur was up there the other day buying a sprocket, okay?
Yep.
Which they're cheaper than Fairfields, they're in competition with Fairfields now. They showed him where they have a complete snow blower up there that will fit onto our MT5, our trackless machine, identical to our snow blower, okay?
Mhm.
The housing of it, okay, yeah, there's some scratches, it's dented a little bit, but the augers, the sprockets, the gearbox, the
Chute.
push frame, okay, is in good shape, okay?
Mhm.
They had two of them, one of them he'd sell for 600 and the other one was 750, okay? Will fit our machine identical, okay? And if anything happened to the gearbox that we have in ours, okay? I'm estimating it'd be $1,600 to $1,800 just for parts for it, okay? And the parts would have to come out of Canada, and I would say that that machine would probably be down for
5 to 6
2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
okay?
What would a new one, brand new cost? Just a dart,
Get the
close,
750.
close dart,
12,000,
I thought.
yeah.
Are we getting both of them or one?
We're gonna get one, we're gonna get the best one,
Yeah.
right, yes, yeah,
That's it? That's all you went shopping for?
that's all.
Well, we can go shopping.
I mean, it's not shocking like you're used
I get a
to.
little nervous when we talk about plows.
Yeah, we bought a dump truck.
Yeah, no.
Well, I thought we'd get another X mark or something like
Now,
that.
what about you?
Tools or get the tool book out and we'll look at the tools. No, I think that you need to start looking at that.
Are we sidewalking this year?
Are we
Town
hiring
Hall
a-
on School Street?
Yeah, we got someone else coming on.
Patched it.
I haven't had a chance to work on anything with sidewalk yet.
This is what, 5th year I've asked about fixing that sidewalk?
Over here,
I do.
I thought we were doing it. Didn't you get estimates?
No,
Oh, whoa, wait a minute.
no,
2 weeks ago,
no,
we said to get estimates all the way up to the bridge
yep,
to do in front and the side.
yep,
Are you doing it yourself?
no,
Then who's doing it?
it'd be a contract.
All right, did you get estimates?
Have I? No, I have not.
When?
Huh? That's no problem. Come before you next Thursday night. But you,
We were supposed to have those
you
3
people have
Thursday
to
nights
dec-
ago.
You people have to decide, okay, what you wanna do about the ramp. Before you can do anything, what are you gonna do about the ramp?
What do we need to do?
The docks.
Take it
Oh,
out,
this ramp.
That is correct, that's right.
We're gonna
take it out, lift it up,
Look it
lift
up.
it up.
take it out. What do you suggest?
You're gonna put back asphalt, right?
Gotta put asphalt back, that's correct.
So you take up the asphalt, put them on blocks to block them up and hold it up. So you get the asphalt back in. We'll have to close the ramp.
You don't want the water to set on the sidewalk, do you?
Nope.
That's right.
So you're not the,
So you're gonna have to put a slope on your asphalt. And pitch it probably 4.5 feet to the edge of the curb, okay?
What are you gonna pitch it? 4.5 feet?
What are you gonna pitch the asphalt?
Yeah.
You've gotta pitch it, you're gonna start, say, 2 inches, 2.5 inches on one side, and by the time you get out to the sidewalk, you're gonna be down 1.5 inches. So you're gonna pitch an inch.
An inch and 4 feet?
You want the water out of it, you want it separate?
Let's put in concrete, we don't have to pitch it so much.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
is concrete cheaper?
No.
But we won't have to pitch it so much.
That's right.
So,
We could put a handprint in concrete.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, a surface is a surface, why would, that's a lot of pitch.
That's the problem.
That's a lot of pitch.
So what's
That's
the
another
problem
problem.
with the ramp? What are you asking for the ramp? Just to lift it and then in asphalt under it? Or is it gonna be off if we tilt it?
I feel it's gonna be off that, to be honest with you. To do it adequate and get your water away from your building and get it over the edge of the granite curve,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a problem with that ramp.
We're gonna have to hire a carpenter to come in, remove the ramp, and adjust the ramp accordingly.
You may have to, you may have to.
That's exactly
Right.
what we'll have
there
to
is a
do.
fix, though.
Oh, there's always a fix, Joe, everything.
We'll work with that.
Okay. So we're going up against the edge of the building, take it all out, repave it.
Right up to the edge of the building, and before we do that in the front, we're gonna fix those bricks in the front, you know, that are pulled right out of there.
Now, a contractor, a paving contractor will not do that.
I know, but
Okay.
we gotta get
That's gotta
somebody
be
to do
amazing.
that. Okay.
Okay? Yeah. So you need a mason and you need a paving contractor. Right?
Sounds
Is he
like,
gonna
right?
point up the rest of the bricks down the bottom that are, the mortar's all out? Or use my discretion on that?
You should seal those bricks. I'd just get a tube of stuff.
What are you gonna do about the broken ones?
They have to be repointed, right?
You just chip them out, put a new one in.
Right. I'll get a call from the mason.
Yeah, Bud wasn't still around. Is this
Does
sun?
the drains from the
That
roof,
sounds-
do they drain right on the sidewalk?
They're out there, on the corner.
Yes.
Is this a time, if we're gonna dig up the sidewalk, that we should do something different with that?
New Hampshire Department of Transportation has always refused our request to drain directly into their catch basins.
Is there
Oh,
one?
they're
Is there
catch
one?
basins,
Is
right?
there one already
Is that
in
the
there?
road?
There's a catch basin right at the bottom of School Street.
But I think at the time that we do it, we might, if there's anything that we can do to,
Yes, I totally
Make it a little
agree.
better.
Yes, yes.
I don't know,
But
if
if
one
you
goes
take-
in the front here,
Did he tape it? It'd be fine. Yeah.
What's that?
is there one from this side of the building, does the alley drain out across there? I know
Yeah,
we
the
get-
Drains
alley
out
comes
across
out.
the sidewalk,
It comes out across the sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
ice is up.
Yeah.
And there's nothing we can do at this time to take care of that?
There isn't really, John, no. There's no basins, no nothing, you just,
You'd have to
If
drain
You
it is,
it.
should
yeah.
go
You'd have
in
to drain
between
the
the
road.
you have
two,
to drain into the road.
and really, you should
They
go
might
in between the
notice.
two buildings. Well, you're tiny enough to do that. You can see the masonry that's not in there now.
Oh, I know.
Off-
Yeah.
And we have pointed that masonry up 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yes.
7.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah,
So,
because I think Danny Murphy did.
but when you,
Bud Murphy?
Son.
Danny.
Yeah.
but when we do the front, when you look at the front, it really doesn't look great as a town hall. Our doors are all messed up, and when you sit down on the bench, all the brick are coming out, and there's holes going down into the basement where the pavement is away from the
They'll take care of all that.
concrete. They'll take care of that, yeah. I think that needs to be tidied up. But the bricks up maybe, 2 feet, all along there needs help. So I don't know, we need to get somebody to give us an estimate on trying to get
I
that
would,
done.
I would keep it the same as it is right now. Take out the old mortar, new mortar in. If the brick is broke, take it out, mortar it back in, and keep it uniform with the rest of it.
Can we do that, or does we have to have somebody do that?
Well, I'd be more comfortable with somebody else doing that.
It's
Could
an
we do
art,
that?
it's an art.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's-
Yeah, this is not a,
Match.
Just,
I
if
was
you're
hoping
off
you
just
were
a
gonna
little
say
bit.
that. I was really gonna challenge him when he said, no, we can do it inside. I was gonna challenge him on that. Because it is an art, I believe it is an art.
I can do it, but
Biggest thing is.
you
to
wouldn't
get
wanna
them
see
out.
what I did.
Get them,
I don't know how brave you are.
That's the
I
biggest.
did it for 40 years.
Yeah.
Did it for 40 years.
All right,
Anything else?
I'm trying to think of if I can keep you here a little bit longer, but,
You were gonna ask about Manville Road trees?
oh yeah, Manville Road trees, we were gonna ask him. What was it?
Well, Peter's not here and he's got all the stuff, so
Okay, we'll ask you
have to
next
wait.
week. We'll ask you next week.
Have to wait.
We gotta start working on that soon this year. Isn't
Yeah.
that supposed to be done this year?
Actually, we talked about it about 3 years ago, I think, 4 years ago.
Oh,
we've been
yeah.
talking about it for 5 years.
But didn't we make a
Since
commitment?
I've been here.
Didn't the Board of
Vicky
Selectmen
Bird.
this year say we gotta get this done this year?
But we're exploring it.
Yeah.
I would love to get
Peter's
that
got
catch
all the
basin
stuff,
done.
all the estimates, all the,
I don't wanna spend
That's been
15
fine.
grand removing trees.
removing trees.
No. What's a big pile of some sand down there opposite the driveway from, where 3M is?
Joe
Oh.
Chase has some fill.
Is that just fill? It's not, where our pit used to be.
No, it's beyond the pit. He just has some fill. Fixing washouts. He left a pipe in the ground where our culvert is. He didn't want to leave it open in case, it was pretty far down, somebody could fall
Oh, I
in.
know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yes.
Yeah, so he left a pipe, you can see it there for us, so we know
Right,
exactly what it
right,
was.
right.
And then back over here, he's got some fill.
Right.
He's got some washouts, he's trying to even it
Yeah,
out.
So I'm curious as to how many, in order to fix the drainage problem at the, what I like to call fog pond, at the entrance to 3M, we have a sump type catch basin there, and that's totally inadequate, obviously. So if you were to run a ditch or, I don't know, rocks, dig a ditch, put rocks in it or whatever, going down Manville Road on the tree side, all right, would that, do you think that would take care of the problem?
No place for it to go.
Doesn't cut across anywhere else.
no.
Then why are we cutting down trees? I thought the
Well,
whole
we're
problem-
not,
Get the
like I
sun.
said, Peter's got all the information, if we wait until next week to discuss it, you'll
If you want
have.
to put the drainage on the tree side,
Mhm.
as you well know, pine trees, the roots aren't
Yeah,
very,
no, I know,
So
and
they gotta
any
come
work
out.
over there would undermine the trees.
exactly, they gotta come out.
Because I was wondering how many trees would have to come out.
50, wow, no,
No.
not 53.
No,
No, that's correct, that's right.
that's what I'm trying to get to, is how many
Right, right.
trees have to come out?
Say half of them, half of them.
Really that long, to effectively deal with that?
Well, the other idea was to get some sun on the road too.
Get some sun on the road.
Well, it
that's
would
right.
get sun on
It
the
would,
road,
yes.
truly,
Yeah.
truly, but I'm still not sure about removing all the trees on that road. I want to take care of this issue, but I still have to be convinced about removing all those trees for all that money
And we'll take that up next week.
next week.
All right, good.
Okay.
All right.
I was just thinking I would get
Do you have
Dennis's
any questions?
expertise while I had the opportunity.
You were seeing if I was thinking the same way that you did.
I'm just curious, that's all.
Any more, you got any questions for us? No, you're all set? All right, we're all set for you, thank you very much.
Okay.
When are we expecting the budget?
Next week, it's supposed, we
Yeah,
should have been
I
done.
know, that's what I'm saying, so.
Next week,
Just make it clear,
Okay.
a framework of it.
something right.
Yep.
Good night, Dennis.
Night.
Thank you, Mr. Allen.
Yo.
Here's for you guys, a list. Y'all can have mine, I didn't make your one. I'll do it next time.
Or I'll make a copy from their file. That's okay.
You know, all right, I'll get that there. This is this week, what we've done. And then this one is just what I have plans for next week.
How did you repair that at T-Hawk, that big hole?
We're going down, you'll see on tomorrow's schedule. Well, what they did, they actually didn't repair the right one. I sent them down, they found another hole, and they filled it with ledge factor now.
Yeah.
But I was over there, I happened to be over there last night, and I saw the other one, because they didn't see it because it was covered over with water, and it's a huge hole too. So we're going down,
Right by the sewer,
right by
Yep.
the,
Oh, down there.
Yeah.
huge hole.
so we're gonna go, I got the crew going down there tomorrow to permanently fix it, what I'm hoping. We'll actually cut all that out and bring in some asphalt and try to build it back up. Because I think it's just a low spot and the water just always sits there. So if we don't build it up and get the water to run out, then it's always gonna happen.
Okay.
Could you explain to me on Friday on the weekly schedule, it says police trailer to be derived. What does that mean?
Well, we're gonna bring a police trailer down on Wednesday, this week.
Oh, delivered.
Delivered.
Well, delivered and derived are two separate
Spell check.
things
Doesn't-
altogether, buddy.
Spell check.
Derived
tomorrow.
from what?
I'm
That's
sorry, doesn't give the right word.
Okay, we're
Both
good,
words
we're
are spelled
good.
right.
We're good.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
But yeah, it'll be delivered on Friday.
Okay.
And I saw on the agenda that we were gonna talk about, or at least touch on, the trenching permits.
Yes, yep,
I worked a little bit on the trenching permit, I haven't got very far yet.
okay,
This is all I've really done, I'm gonna actually add to this page. This is, this would be like your first page. This way you can get all your information when you first pull the permit out
yep,
and see who's doing it, where they're doing it. And I think we can incorporate the permit to cover certain things such as excavation
yep,
and culvert, so we can put a culvert in. And they can fill out the same permit.
on the culvert,
Yeah.
yeah. We will, Peter thought we were gonna be working on that tonight as well, and he looked at it and had some changes. Do you have that in here?
I did too, but I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished mine.
So, I'm gonna, give you
The,
thing that you can read it. He's got some of the changes that he'd likes in the pencil there. But,
the ordinance is so vague for today's world.
yeah,
I'll work on it in the coming months, because it's gonna start slowing down. You know, I mean, you might get some things in the winter, but usually not a lot.
right,
It'll start slowing down, and hopefully before we come back into our season again this spring, we'll have something workable, a working document.
High Street is probably going to need one.
Mhm.
I believe that catch basin is in the road, I don't know how far into the road it is. Because they're going to have to hook
And
into
water
the 8-inch sewer line.
Mhm.
The water district is another matter, they're gonna have to do something about their line that's over the sewer line. So they're gonna need one as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
if you wait for
So-
things to slow down, John.
No, I was just saying that.
No,
You're in the wrong
no.
town.
It might take a while.
I'm just saying that when we're still working on this older one, there isn't anything in there. The ordinance itself allows for us to require a bond,
Mhm.
but the document, the permit does not.
Right,
And we usually require a bond.
right,
So before you give out
we should
the
be,
trenching permit,
right, we should be.
it needs to come
Come
to us.
In that,
Yeah,
yeah.
we should
So we
come,
can
it should be in
determine.
here, but what she's saying, Johnny, is before, in the next couple of months, when they come to us for a trenching permit for those roads, those projects that Catherine's speaking of, you need to come to us, because it's gonna require a bond.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
I'm sure I can find a place to plug that in right now.
Well,
Dennis
it's in-
just had one,
Yeah.
it's in here.
It's in
Mhm.
the ordinance, but it's not in the permit.
But we want it in
Right.
the permit. so-
Yeah.
Right, exactly,
Fair warning
exactly.
to people.
Exactly, so I could see, that's easy enough to work in there somewhere with what we have now. But, I was talking about, I wasn't saying we weren't gonna do trenching permits. I
Yeah,
was saying before we get a completed product,
right,
because we still obviously will have people working.
right,
But I'd like to, before next
yep,
real busy season comes, maybe have a finished, all agreed upon working product that we can
yep.
hand out to people
Perfect.
when they wanna.
Because we have a couple other ordinances that we want to update, and we want to make sure we have the trash and littering ordinance as well. That's next on our list, and then we have a housing ordinance that we want to update. We want to get those three done before town meeting, that's our goal. Right? Well, the housing ordinance, we want to get done before December.
It has to go to town meeting, so
Right.
yes. The others are ours, so we can,
Right.
littering is usually on here, it's not tonight, but littering is usually there. I mean, and even
Is it on Johnny's dashboard too?
our parking ordinance needs to be consolidated. Or
Is it
traffic, no,
access
it's
to it?
traffic. Remember the chief? Well, it's updated, but there's like 4 or 5 of them out there that you weren't aware of.
What is it, Catherine?
Our traffic ordinances,
Oh, yeah,
we could.
like a couple of old ones.
Yep. Could update those. Do you have access to Google Drive, right?
Yeah, some learning your system is taking a little
Do you,
bit. so.
So you should have access to that.
You have access to your dashboard, the ordinances should be on there.
I think probably, I
Okay.
just gotta,
So-
I'll call the guys in the office here, they've been great about it anytime I ask, and Tim's been helping.
Okay,
So he's actually coming over tomorrow to show me some things too, so.
okay.
Ask them about the dashboard because all the information is right in that little
Are you
file.
talking about the shared documents?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Document.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just learning it too, so.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all in the same boat. It's an unfunded mandate here. That's what I'm saying. We always have those from the state, now we're getting them from Tim.
Sorry.
Google. But I actually bought a computer at home, and all it has on it is Google, so I'm forced to use it. So,
So, no, I was just bringing you in part of
Yeah.
the face, where I was changing it around to make it more user-friendly and friendly for us too. Early
Great.
as well.
yep. Wonderful.
This I have, a report for,
I've got a conflict again.
oh,
Choice.
I was gonna give her mine, but I didn't.
Thank you.
So- Go ahead and give that to Peter if you want.
Thank you. Actually, give me those, you don't put in Peter's,
Don't give it to you.
those are for Peter's, something,
Have you, on an individual basis, put anything in their file that you've documented, that you've had a conversation with them?
Not yet, but if I do that, I'll talk to them individually and document it, have them sign it. And you want that in the department file or the permanent file?
And it was, I'll have to ask the board that. Is that what we're looking for?
excuse me?
It needs to go in their personnel record. If it's
Um,
not documented, it didn't happen.
We're talking about
Let's-
personnel
yeah,
issues,
let's
so
go into
public to be
non-public.
careful.
Mm-hmm.
I know, let's go into non-public on this. We can speak a little bit more.
Yes.
freely.
Mm-hmm.
Make a motion, we go into
Second.
non-public for RSA 91A:3, personnel.
Second,
Roll call vote?
yes.
Yes.
Time being 7:12, I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as it pertains to personnel permanent.
Second,
Roll call vote?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. John?
Before I forget.
Yes.
For the impound
That
yard,
just goes in
all
here.
of that
As far as
stuff.
I know.
Did you see the grade stakes that are out there?
Yeah, Dennis took me up and showed me them.
All of that stuff that's within that area, and
Mm-hmm.
probably you're gonna wanna go at least 6 feet beyond as well.
Okay, do you have any idea when you plan on starting?
No, the selectmen we'll talk about that.
But I can do that anytime, be good busy work when we're in between stuff.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know, so you could think about where it's going.
Good.
Don't like to surprise people.
No, Dennis has actually been really great for this. You know,
Yeah.
He's excellent.
He has, been really good. Just wanted to let you guys know that.
And he's a good guy.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you coming in. I'm sorry we went a little longer. You got a meeting tonight? You were
Yeah,
missed.
I'm a little late for it, but that's all right.
Oh, dear.
I wasn't looking forward to it anyway.
Ah! All right,
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks.
good night.
Good to see you, John. Good to see you.
All right, we're running late. Chief, come up, but I'm gonna read this first, so that this, but this is part of you anyway, so. Oh, Johnny should be part of this too. Johnny, is he gonna be?
Johnny!
Alone?
I haven't got a clue.
Mine's
I'm guessing yes.
No, I'll move right through.
Almost made it.
A couple more steps.
Almost.
All right, I wanted to read this. This is a letter from a resident, so you're involved as well, and the chief. When the chief sits down, we'll be all set. He's misbehaving. All right. Don't start yet. I gotta do this, all right? All right, dear Selectmen, I'm writing in concern of the daily speed that occurs on Cedar Street from Winter Street. There is only one speed limit sign posted on this street, and it is placed as soon as you turn onto Cedar Street from Winter Street. Since this street is used as a bypass from Main Street, there is traffic year-round. The traffic during the school year, specifically at the end of the school year, the school day, is full of speeding cars, some of which I have personally reported to the Tilton Police Department. This neighborhood is full of families with children ranging from infants to teenagers and older residents that use Cedar Street for their daily walks to and from school, bike rides, and playing in their driveways. There is always a risk to the pedestrians and citizens on this road, with the speeding vehicles not adhering to safety limits. The speeding is getting worse, and it is only a matter of time before an accident shatters the calm of this gentle community. We are requesting through this residential petition of Cedar Street 2 speed bumps to be placed on Cedar Street, one placed near 5 Cedar Street and the other placed near 33 Cedar Street. This will slow the traffic down at each end of Cedar Street and help to ensure the safety of all citizens in this neighborhood. Thank you for your consideration in this important matter and keeping Tilton safe. Sincerely, Heather Young, 20 Cedar Street, and Kirk Young, 20 Cedar Street. And I have, including Selectman Constantino, a petition of many residents. Do we want to set up a public hearing?
Well, aren't all the other streets that are involved in that, like, they've gotta go over High Street and Pine Street to get out, they gotta go down Chestnut or Prospect to get out, or up over Daniel and School Street. So it's not just Cedar Street, it affects that whole area. Today I had to go to the Public Works Department, left here about 3:30, a little before, and wow. I went down Academy thinking I could get out, no way. I went on the left side of the UPS truck to the intersection to get out, I couldn't get out. It was so blocked up, and I did go up and take the route around. And they're right, there were all kinds of cars avoiding that traffic like I was, only they were going really fast. I met one on the corner and I was surprised. So it affects all the streets in the village area that are interconnected with this.
It's really getting bad.
Why aren't we
because-
considering speed bumps?
If we put speed bumps on that street, it diverts into the other street, and then we gotta put speed bumps on that street.
What
And
street
so
will it
forth.
divert them to?
Yeah, right, if there's a speed bump on Cedar, that is the access.
That's the
road.
access to all of them.
So after they get past that, then they go faster on the rest of the roads.
Well, it would be High, which is going down and then up, and then there's a stop sign.
Well,
And then they gotta cross over Chestnut, and then it's just a short road to Prospect.
And luckily, they don't speed on those roads.
let's go back to what Donnie said. Why are the people seeking the back road? Because it's so bad on the main road. And Donnie said that one of the biggest problems is like the buses can only get through the lights, 4 buses, and then it changes because each one of them has to stop and look. Because if we can figure out how to alleviate why people are so pissed off and running around, it's gonna make a difference.
We had the state here, though. We had the state come up here, and they looked at the timing. They did change the timing on the light 3 years ago,
Yeah.
was it?
But Donnie was talking about having an officer actually at the Park Street intersection that would flag the school buses through, instead of each one of them coming up to the railroad tracks, stopping, opening the door,
Wait a minute.
closing the door.
That's a
going.
rule of this, that's
But
their
also,
rule, they have to do that.
but would they not, if a policeman was standing there to
Yeah, we-
flag them through?
They have to
They
stop.
still have to
It's a
stop.
regulation for
Yeah.
Well,
them.
that's the
Do
question,
anything.
because
Yeah.
when Donnie brought it up,
Yeah.
that question was asked.
That
And
sounded
we-
great,
you-
just keep the buses
We
coming.
were waiting for you to verify that they still have to stop.
Yeah, they do,
Okay.
yeah.
Then it's moot, that wouldn't help.
No, I mean,
we've gone over it a few times. I mean, one of the other things we looked at, if you remember a few years ago, we looked at do not enter from winter at
Right.
2 to 5. We were worried about Daniels, but from what I'm told, Daniels doesn't take their heavy equipment in there anymore. What do you know? So I mean, that's still.
No, they don't. They
So, I mean-
haven't they don't own it
Because
anymore. They sold it to some
I
kind
mean,
of
some
a,
other places I worked, we ran into this exact same
Right.
problem, and that's what we did to resolve it, was that you couldn't turn in from winter from 2 to 5, that's all. So that's just something, but I know.
but it's not just on school. I mean, all summer
Right,
long,
right, yeah.
you're getting the people that are coming out of the factories,
That's
that are
right.
going deer, winter, steel,
Yeah, that-
and they're going down. In the afternoon, between, like, say, 2:30 to maybe 5, I cannot walk my dog on the side of the road in Cedar Street. Can't do it. It is like that. You just cannot do it.
I know, I mean, they were stopping a bunch there a couple weeks ago. Detectives were over there, Matt was over there, it was one after the next.
Yep.
I noticed Steve stopped about 20 cars
Go get
on
that
one
one.
day.
So we
But
keep
I-
on doing it, right?
It's just like the day we're not there, the one, they're gonna fly, you know, and
So why aren't we speed bumping?
Well, and all the residents have, you know, mentioned it to me
Does,
too, so. I think,
Johnny still needs,
No, we're all set with you, Johnny. We're gonna get in touch with you to make sure either
what was the,
before,
can I see your location?
before we do a speed bump, the highway, we usually have a public hearing, but in this case, if we're just gonna, everybody on Cedar Street has signed it, so I don't think anybody that's there has not signed it, so.
What we can do is speed bump whenever you want, and we will put a sign up for the bump. But the speed bumps do have to be removed before winter,
Right.
just so that the residents are
And then we
aware.
still have the problem in the winter, but
Yeah.
the summer and the spring and through the
Yeah.
summer and the
Yeah,
fall,
those times.
yeah.
We can make a speed bump out of snow.
5 and 33, so that makes
What's that?
good sense.
we'll make a speed
Those
bump out of
locations.
snow.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, we
can't
can fly, they just look
change
well,
the
but
You and I can go up.
directions of the roads one way.
In the winter
one
street, in the winter, we could change the direction in the,
Direction of the
Do you
road.
want Johnny and I to go look at these 2 locations? And just double check them, or? I mean,
Sure.
I would, just personally, I would be in favor of it. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I'm definitely in favor, because I signed it, I wouldn't want it any other way.
I was up there the other day because we had the construction on that sheet. But, so I met
And we're
with,
gonna talk to you about that, too.
so I met with them.
Uh-huh.
And I got a call from the woman over
Matt,
there.
can
Yeah.
Johnny excuse me?
Yes.
But,
And let me know what happens.
Thank you, you're all set.
they,
Thanks, guys.
We won't call you back now.
yeah, they really can't get up a lot of speed.
I'm gonna run.
because
They run.
Like you said, short pieces, the stop sign,
Right.
so it's not as, but Cedar definitely.
You have
They do
to,
come through the stop sign too, when they fly by my house, and go down around mine.
They don't stop.
No, they don't.
Even one of my guys back at Eric's driveway there and was just waving them in and writing.
I think that's great, because they're gonna be the same people that are doing it time and time again.
But those speed bumps,
you have to really think, because
Oh,
when
no,
you get
I'm-
out there,
I'm,
and you I always go out, take a left, I never go down in Winter Street, ever. And you take a left, I've been guilty myself, not thinking, I've come to a rolling stop, not a stop, when you come to High Street and take a right on Cedar, at the end of Cedar and take a right, you take a rolling stop. Do I speed through there? No, but do I take sometimes and then Eric came in and said, you know, there's some people there that shouldn't do this, and I was guilty. I make a really solid effort to pay attention, and it's one, you don't notice it,
Yeah.
because you're coming up to it, and the road continues, and then High Street is like this way, and Cedar Street continues that way, and it's kind of like you don't notice it till you're gonna take a right. I'm in favor, so do you wanna have a public hearing, or do you wanna just go with saying,
same
do it?
process all the time, a public hearing, and
If we had public hearing on the last speed bump,
Yeah.
we should have a public hearing.
Why I asked is because there's nobody that said no over on that street, but there was people that didn't know about it on Daniel Drive. That's why I questioned it. But I'm okay, we'll set up a public
And there
hearing.
could be somebody that drives that road all the time. That's some
And
reason they may seem legitimate, they feel legitimate. not to.
Is that a mechanic on that job on how to, I talked about calling the woman that's.
You already have, come and gone.
Come and gone.
Come
I
and
spoke
gone.
with her.
Lori, Evans,
Is it Janet?
Lori,
Lori.
Lori Evans.
Janet is the mother. I
Mother
think.
called me.
How about, October 15th? At 7?
I think I'll be gone then.
How about the 22nd?
I'll be gone that night for sure.
Oh, okay.
That's that Moose Camp thing.
Oh.
I leave on a Thursday and then I come back the following Sunday.
All right, are you okay? We're not here on the 8th.
You don't need me for
All
what
right.
about the first?
this. I'm here for,
What do you wanna-
Today is the 16th, no, I'm looking at July. Today is the 17th,
yep.
so.
24.
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks to get in touch with everyone. Is that enough, Joyce, you think?
Sorry, I was reading about the street here.
2 weeks to get in touch with everybody to have a public hearing?
To do a mailing? For the speed bumps?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. October 1st?
October 1st?
Do we know where the speed bumps are gonna be placed yet?
5 and 33.
5 and 33?
We have potential.
We have a,
Proposed.
right, proposed.
What kind of
This is-
fine do they usually get? How fast do they usually go?
This is the
Wait.
letter, Joyce, with the petition,
Okay.
with the
What about the
names.
fine frame?
Okay, can I just make a copy of that and I'll give the letter to
Usually 72.
$72?
Now, this is
So-
just sent mail to the people on Cedar Street
Well, Maple Court too,
and Maple Court. Well, anybody that signed the petition plus all the people on Cedar Street.
in Spruce, I would
And
say.
Cedar and
Probably
Spruce.
could be higher for, residential. Yes. Settle with something.
Okay, now, let's talk about High Street.
Yeah.
When we called you to say, go over and check that out, and they were blocking one lane of traffic, the police officer went over there and shut them down, sent a truck away with dirt in it. They were unloading dirt. Sent the truck away with dirt, and it cost them the whole load of dirt. We didn't send anybody over there to shut it down. Who was the officer that went over?
He told me that when he told them they can't block a lane, they said, well, we're gonna quit it today then. That was weeks ago.
The Laurie Evans version is that they were told that the selectmen wanted it to shut down, they got too many complaints.
That didn't message me.
Well, I wanna hear from Luke then.
Yeah.
I wanna hear it right out of
And
Luke's
actually,
mouth.
when I, yeah.
I wanna hear that, I wanna see the body camera film on that.
When I went over to,
That's it, I wanna see the body camera. And don't tell me that it's missing.
May or may not have actually hit the body camera.
We have to,
Yeah,
in the,
if it's going on a call.
yeah, that's true. You should have, right?
I think he said when he got over there, they were quitting or had quit already. So, I'll double check with them.
Some officer spoke with them and sent the truck away.
That was the guy's version of it.
Yeah.
That was her version, and when I spoke with Ed over there today, earlier, when I first found out about it, was exactly the same scenario, and he was there.
Well, the other day they were blocking a lane and I told them they can't block the lane and they just quit when I told them that. I didn't order them to quit, didn't tell them to leave, they just said, well, you know, if we can't block a lane, we're gonna be done for the day.
If they have,
That's their choice.
if they have dump trucks coming in, unloading material, there'll be gravel for the driveway.
Right.
There'll be backfill for the foundation. You know, it takes the truck probably less than 5 minutes to pull up and back in, and then they dump and they come out. Now, when they go in, they're gonna block, and when they come out, they're gonna block. But the duration of the dump is probably 10 minutes at the most. you wouldn't expect them to have a detail for that, but yet they're gonna block the lanes. I mean, typically, I know when I was doing construction, one of us would be out there, stopping traffic because the truck's backing up, and then you walk out of the road and traffic goes.
And they were told that they needed a detail. Well, they don't need a detail for that. They're unloading a construction strip.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's like-
talked to them one day and I can tell you the conversation was if you're gonna be blocking one lane for more than a few minutes, you're gonna have to have a cruiser out there with blue lights, because this is dangerous. That triaxle sat there for about 15 minutes and I sat behind it. And they had one guy that was running the excavator and the triaxle. And finally, one of the foremen came out and I said, is someone gonna move this truck? I was waiting for someone to move it. And finally he said, oh, we have to move it? I said, yeah, it was 2:39, traffic was heavy. We were just talking about that traffic. And people coming the other way couldn't get by without having a head-on collision. So he goes, all right, well, I'll move it. But then they had to get the guy off the excavator to move the triaxle. I never told them they had to shut down. I just said, you can't block one lane. It's not wide enough.
So they weren't actively dumping, loading or unloading.
It was full and it wasn't moving anywhere. So, and that's...
Sounds like they didn't.
So I talked to Janet
That
today and I
crew
said,
on
Janet,
site.
we're not
They have a
unreasonable.
version,
If a truck,
everybody's got a version.
if a truck was gonna back in there, I've done it myself with cruisers. Go ahead, I'll cover you. Get it in, dump it. That's different than the truck's just sitting there idling for a half hour, an hour. It's just too dangerous. It really is.
I agree that it's too dangerous, but I think this whole thing was a huge misunderstanding or miscommunication in some way, because they felt that we made the phone, two selectmen, how did they know two selectmen made the phone call? They were very specific about it.
Very specific.
So somebody said to them, two selectmen made the phone call.
Well, I
And
know
then-
when they said that to me, and I didn't say anything. I just said I got 2 complaints. I
Was
didn't-
Luke before you or Luke after you?
He was the day before me.
Why? I really want that video, Chief.
And
I'd like that video.
I mean, it's,
I want to view it. Thank you. And then we'll go from there. All
You know
right,
what?
let's go on your report.
One of the things is, people, when they have such a difficult lot, they gotta realize that they're gonna have to deal with a lot of difficult circumstances to load and unload and things like that. It's, so, they can't really park, leave a truck just sitting there.
Right,
If
right.
it's not active, somebody in it, in the process of when
it seemed like they weren't ready to dump it, even though it was cold.
if they're waiting and that the other guy's pulling out, it's gonna take a few minutes and he's go back in or whatever, but. And I mean, she portrayed that we were picking on her, but we weren't. It's a very difficult lot. We do this, we do have other lots. Look where that soccer field's going in.
Mhm.
We have to work together. There's lots of different things. I
Yeah,
think she
the-
understands that now.
I told her, the way we work with a lot of companies is just if it's gonna be momentary, a few minutes, or you gotta get something in, call us. If we're free, we'll always help. Call us in advance. I'd rather get that call than we're dealing with a complaint on the other side, But, I'll just run down this. Our calls are still up, but it's been busy, and it could be attributed to some of the warm weather too, but 459 is high for this time of year. We had 7 arrests. We're still working on some narcotic and another new ORC case. Our indictments this month it was predominantly drugs. We did have 3 counts of a Class A felony with theft from a store over at Tanger Outlets. It was an employee, but it's a major theft. And then we had a couple that was dealing drugs out of a hotel, so they were indicted. That's heroin and fentanyl. And I think one of them had some cocaine. And then the bottom indictment there is another theft that was $10,000 from J. Jill. And then we're working on a skimmer case with Urban Corporate had a meeting yesterday with their head of security international. He came down from Canada just to meet me. And so that's ongoing, but we have to work our investigation through the company that makes the pump called Gilbarco. So, but we feel like where we caught that skimmer that, the suspects didn't get the information, so hopefully there's no victims associated with that skimmer. But it's obviously a big concern to the owners of Irving.
In Tilton.
And, who would think that
Put it on
a gas
credit
pump
card.
would,
Yeah.
somebody would get in there and be able to do something?
I mean, the owners themselves, the Irving family, said if someone was a victim in Tilton, they would call them and apologize.
But,
They gotta reimburse them.
how
Yeah, I
long
imagine they would, yeah.
how long did it take them to put the unit on there?
It,
Somebody knew the
yeah,
pumps.
it probably take 5 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty quick.
Well, they were pumping gas.
Yeah, and Corporal Henry had that driver training too today, and Matt attended some ORC training. Corporal Morrison's finishes up tomorrow the Command Institute, and that's part of his new position. I have training on Monday and Tuesday. It's risk management training by New England Chiefs. It's right here in New Hampshire. And then command staff training. There's a 3-hour block put on by the U.S. Attorney's Office next week on the 24th down at the Academy. And they have the Commissioner of Boston, Bill Evans, is coming up to do this training. And the U.S. Attorney's Office thinks it's a great training for command staff. They're going to talk about, obviously, the Boston Marathon bombing and some other big incidents they've dealt with. And then I had spoken with Arthur before I came today just to make sure he's clear to do that car next week, and I told him hold off till I meet with the board. He said he could do it next week. He said it would take him 3 days, so put that in there. The 10A has a power issue to the radio. The lights work, but the radio doesn't, so the captain's taking that over to OME tomorrow. And then, of course, I think they mentioned that the trailer's getting moved tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. over to the highway garage. And that's been the captain's project all week to get that ready. And also he's preparing to do an auction as well, so he's tagging stuff for auction right now. Nothing.
So he's gonna move the trailer over to highway.
They're moving it with cabinets and everything.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We need to, or I think we need to move forward in getting those filing cabinets in the basement. We can hire a moving company to move them, or find somebody to move them,
What filing cabinet?
that are in the storage trailer, and then be done with the trailer.
They have to be in a secure location in the basement.
We can build a wall down
I've been
there
thinking more.
using the chain link method instead of, a
Is
separate
that
partition.
acceptable?
I'm
That
just
would
thinking,
lock.
why don't we have an electrician move that pipe from the old jail cell and put all of the records in the jail?
It's not big enough.
No, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
You'd have to
Yeah.
use the old
30.
jail
30
and
cabinets.
the
And they have to
other
be able
room.
to get in and out of
And they
them,
have
Lisa
to-
has to go in and out.
so they have to move
Yeah.
around them.
What about the room where the lift comes into? That entire room, and then you can put
It's
two
wet,
doors?
too wet in there.
Yeah, 'cause we have the dehumidifier in there, the air conditioner's in there.
The air conditioner, oh, that was condensating, there was one
It
on the
was,
floor.
yeah.
The dry room is that back room.
The back
It's the
room.
room that we could control the climate in.
And they have easy access using that bulkhead, so they don't have to come in.
But they can, yeah, I mean,
The
they can
town
get in
hall.
and out. We could cage it so that
Can it
there's
be just
airflow.
caged, or do we need to put a wall?
No, it could be caged.
It can be caged to keep people out with a locked door.
It's
As long
one of
as
the
people can't get
dehumidifier
into
too.
it.
The dehumidifier was sized to handle that downstairs area, so by having it just fenced or caged in, then.
The dehumidifier would work.
It goes on non-public room.
Thought we were gonna put beer taps down. We're tunnel through to the Oh, next door, I can run a line.
There used to be a butcher shop down there.
I have no problem opening that up, just, you know, leaving room for the air conditioners that are down there, access to that.
Because otherwise, it's just gonna fill up again.
Well, you know, what is
So
the
we
rental on the
can fill
trailer?
it up ourselves.
How much?
About 700,
What's that?
700 a year for the trailer.
ballpark-ish.
So we can get rid of that trailer if we put all this stuff in the basement?
No,
No, we're
No.
using that for evidence too, so.
You
They
could
use
get
that
rid of the trailer, and
kayaks
that
and what
floating
have you.
slab is designed to build a structure on.
We could put a shed on the,
Yeah.
in the floating strap.
So you
Slab.
put a structure on the floating slab, that would be ours that we're not paying rent on.
So let's move.
but it would be less expensive right now at $700 a year with the kayaks and all of that to be held in the trailer. The
Short term.
How long have we
Short-term.
been paying for this trailer? How long have we had it?
4 years.
Yeah, about that. Well, we'll move that trailer down there for now and start working on the basement.
Estimates are free. Let's find out what it costs.
Are we gonna go with chain link or a wall?
You want a chain link so that the dehumidifier can work.
And also fire safe, like that, safe fire. You have sprinklers down there.
The more you enclose it, the more likely you can have mold grow in there because of the airflow.
Don't have.
Yeah, we should get a good,
I was just thinking,
another humidifier.
if they ever moved out, we could have room. If we had enclosed it now, if they moved out, we would have an extra room, that's all.
Chain link would work, some of those meetings.
Yeah, but we could put them in there and us out here.
We get behind the good old
There, you
boys.
still have the stage for another room, but anyway, just my thoughts. I don't like wasting money.
I think that, all right, so we'll get an estimate on taking half that room, but you'd still have to leave a path from the bulkhead
Yeah.
towards us.
The room is plenty big enough to cordon off. If you look
Right.
at where the poles are to come out, you'd still have a big wide area. You could actually have room for, if sewer wanted to put filing cabinets down there or
Right.
whoever, whatever, and then cordon it off, and you'd have plenty of room for the air conditioners. In fact, the space that they're in wouldn't even be touched.
Well, why would we be moving them again, moving them over to highway and then over here again?
Well, because we're not ready for them to go into the basement, and they have to pave that parking lot.
Quick,
And then
When are
move
they
the whole
paving?
thing tomorrow morning.
that's coming up real soon.
But
I
they
think
don't
she-
have to bring the trailer
I
back.
saw the guy from Chambers, and he's like, we're ready when you,
Oh, okay.
So we gotta
that's
move-
why I
Well,
told
they
the
got-
cap to like, have it done this week.
Don't bring it back to the PD. Leave it
Yeah,
over
right,
there. It's
right.
actually more secure down there because we have locked gates. There's no locked gates in PD.
I think it's going on the
So,
far right.
make sure you get an estimate as soon as possible, and we'll get that downstairs, chain link, evidence.
With the chain link piece, would that be highway doing that, or someone doing that?
Would it be fastened to the floor? So it would be whoever's putting the chain link in, right? Or
I'll find out.
are we just gonna buy chain link from Lowe's and have highway do it?
Has to be secure.
Yeah,
Has
this
to
has
be
gotta
for
be,
real.
yeah.
Has to, because if anything happened and we Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
it,
yeah, I
heaven
get you.
forbid,
I get you,
we'll spend the extra money now and save it on the backside.
I get you.
I'll find out, 'cause where I work, we have certain areas that have.
Cages.
It's cages, and
Yeah.
they're sectional things,
Mhm.
and they even have another section with the door, and it's diamond, it's government approved, fenced.
And it's solid, it's impregnable.
You can
I
see
mean, it's
like,
really
we
gonna be
have
secure
like a
down in
sheet
the
on
basement
it.
anyway, because we don't.
Yeah,
But, yeah, they're acceptable by Department of Defense.
well, if you
Protect
pop
their
a lock,
records,
if
so.
you pop a lock on that bulkhead, you're in the building and you're down the stairs and, oh, there they are.
If there's another door there that could be locked.
And then we should consider that as well.
Mhm.
All right,
Um,
so you're gonna work on that.
yeah,
certain number of
You guys
years.
do that too.
And then I put just a note there on one of our offices that's out,
Yeah.
that, just to give you an update. And then just a couple events, there's a rail trail event for Special Olympics we're doing on the 26th. And then Halloween this year is on the 31st. And so typically we do the downtown on the 30th, so the Friday before. One thing, we kind of debriefed last year a little bit, and with crossing all the kids and all the activity downtown, it actually makes traffic pretty bad. It backed up, like up to AutoServe, and all the guys said, gee, it's easier and faster if you just route them around Academy and basically shut from, Town Hall down to T-Hop. And the kids just have the street, you don't have to worry about them getting hit by a car,
Oh, like we do for summer fair.
like summer fair, for 2 hours, like 4 to 6. So, and traffic would actually be, it would get through more efficiently. So,
But they're gonna have to have a guard, they're gonna have to have a policeman in School Street because they'll be walking from
yeah,
Main Street to cross over School Street to go to Onions and, because they participate in the
right,
business
right.
downtown.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'd have to have a couple officers there,
Mhm.
and then probably one down at Park Street.
Yeah,
But then the kids would essentially have the street for the 2 hours, and
right.
the store owners could come out, they
Yeah.
could set up something if they wanted to for the couple hours. So.
We're
we'd
gonna
have,
do the
you know,
costume contest thing again.
Yeah, we
Can you
could
get
have,
us some prizes?
yeah, we could have prizes, some music, put some
What are we doing for the
Halloween
kids?
music out there.
Yeah, yeah, Boris
The
Karloff.
kids get all the
Yeah, yeah.
candy, the kids get all the stuff going down. Every store has, well, some have books, some have candy,
Yeah.
some have
Yeah,
little prizes and bags and.
yep.
If we're gonna have prizes for the adults, can we have prizes for the kids as well?
For the costumes,
Yeah.
for the
Didn't
best
we
kids.
have something, I don't know about last year, but the year before, there was something about there was a kid.
Well,
that-
it started
The
with
little lamps in the
Right.
basket.
The little, it
Babies
started
dressed like
because the
lamps. It was
businesses,
great.
we wanted the businesses to participate.
Yeah.
And most of them go home at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they all stay on Halloween to participate in opening up. And that was the whole point of getting downtown, business downtown,
Mhm.
and Halloween night. But I don't, if we can get prizes for that,
Yeah, we did before, that shouldn't be
we
a
could
problem.
do the costume for the business, the 3 costumes for the business, 3, and then do children.
That's 3.
Well, it'd be
Yeah.
nice for the businesses to do something for the kids.
Well, they pass out candy and, it seems like one place was giving out coffee
Coffee and
and,
hot
you know,
chocolate,
and
yeah.
hot chocolate and whatever.
Yeah.
It's a nice event.
And,
Oh, yeah, and the selectmen
George-
judge the costumes,
Right,
so
Right.
that's a fun thing.
you did that last year
Yep.
with us, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Now, and George Mansfield gave out books,
Yeah,
that was nice.
yeah.
I
So
like
they give out
books.
like some backpacks and stuff. I remember the kids.
Yes,
Where did that come from?
that
There
was
a couple
from
prizes.
an organization that's set up over here on the children's organization over here that set up in front of the fitness. They had a table, it wasn't the PTA, it was,
It was a school.
it was a school function anyway, they gave away
Back to school.
There's a couple things.
a couple of things, not pencils, but writing, something writing, and then backpacks, a tote. That was fun. I've done it now 4 or 5 years, so.
So I'm hoping to make it a little bigger, more fun, some music.
One year we had New England Patriots tickets, that's what,
Yeah.
so maybe we should maybe give up your Patriots tickets.
That's what I had up last Thursday.
They get to
Was
pick
that
the
the night
game.
of the game?
Huh?
They get
Yes.
to pick the game.
No, actually, Onions donated the tickets, and
Well, that's all.
it was a game that they were able to pick.
I can
Yep.
mention that.
That was about 3 years ago, I'd say.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Yep. That was a
2 or
good
3
prize.
years ago, I remember.
Yep.
Was it 2 or 4?
Sherry won the Patriots ticket.
That's
I
right.
remember Sherry won the Patriots.
Well, at any rate,
The year that
so if we could have
I did
prizes
it,
for
Sherry won
kids
the ticket.
too,
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome.
Her daughter, Sherry? You mean?
That's easy.
No.
Yeah.
No, the
Sherry,
cook,
you know,
Sherry.
That's
they got
right.
Okay,
special
yeah.
really
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, Sherry Abbott,
Yeah.
Yes,
zombie,
that's correct.
totally prime.
Absolutely. And that was good.
Mhm.
That was nice. Okay, that's a good.
When is the rail trail event on September 26th?
So we started it last year. It was the very first one where we have a 5K race, a 10K race. There's a 50K bike ride, and
I was in on that thing last year.
it went good. It was
It was a
fun.
lot of fun. It was at Old Peachy Park, well, at the athletic club. It was in the parking lot there. And there was all sorts of food vendors and whatever, and there was tents, and you could see the runners coming and going, and you were cheering them on, and it was a carnival-like atmosphere.
Is that where it is again?
Well, they do two. They do one at Peachy, and this one's at Proctor, the field right there in
Mhm.
Eagle, right
That's a nice
Oh.
view.
there. Yeah.
Why is it called rail trail?
It's the same rail trail. It's the one that goes through Franklin and connects to
Oh, I didn't
ours.
know that
Yeah.
it was on that
The whole
end.
thing's on the trail.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I know
they-
there's Melvin Thompson's path.
I think it's the first like major thing that's been on the trail in that area. But it went good.
So the one you're at, it's down in,
Yeah, and then they do the same exact thing over in Laconia.
yeah, they rode around Lake Winnipesaukee on their bicycles. It was a lovely day.
And we did the same, food
Yeah,
vendors,
yeah,
all
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
So,
It would be nice.
Yeah,
it's
it
good
was
for,
fun.
it's good for kids,
Yeah.
and it's they do a
Yeah.
little family bike ride. They're gonna have like a little 1 mile run for kids.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
What are we, do we need to go into non-public on number 8?
Is that
we
just
can,
an
yeah, we
FYI?
can if you, I mean, I won't know how that all plays out.
When is the
till then.
year? When is the year?
It would be in there, yeah, I mean, it would be February.
Well, we'd have to see what happens on the first date and then see what happens. There's an anticipated thing, but that doesn't mean that it won't be sooner. I mean, hallelujah, these things happen. It might turn out bad. There's no way of knowing until after the 5th.
Then it's not necessarily a decision to be made.
No, not right now.
Wow. A lot of
Or
variables,
1
isn't
year?
there?
There's a lot of variables and we can't just knee-jerk.
There would be a decision after 1 year, yes.
But that's not.
February.
Yeah.
That's still a ways down the road.
Wow, okay.
All right, so I'm just saying, we've got to.
I'll keep it,
Maybe things are
Make
looking
sure
really
that
good
we're-
at that point.
Right,
You know, have to
keep us in the loop on that.
keep positive.
Oh, we asking, I think it was last week, before, about check up on the generators? Like the small generator
Did we run
that you
them?
guys have in the
We
garage?
don't, the small one, Dennis took that down there, so everything's down at highway.
Is it?
Did he get the sewer
Because
commission's one on
we're not
Main
even
Street?
wired for the small one anymore, John, so
You're only wired for the big
we're
one.
only wired for the big one.
Properly wired for the
Properly,
big one.
we're
Okay.
properly wired for the big
Alright.
one.
And you have keys.
To,
I remember those
DPW.
days.
Did you get the highway keys? You already had highway keys, right?
we have the.
The gate.
I
The
don't
gate.
have the building.
They need a building.
Gail,
key.
what happened to the keys?
You know,
I think Joyce was putting it in writing, so we make sure we get that set, correct, Joyce?
Why are we waiting for it to be
DPW.
writing?
I
I was gonna go
Well,
to writing
email.
to Dennis, or to Johnny, that he has to give us
Didn't we
keys.
tell Johnny
That was
last
over
We
a
week?
week
did.
ago.
Yeah.
We did
We
tell
told
Johnny.
we
and
told
tell
Johnny
him
last
last
Okay,
week.
we
week.
have told him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have,
It's
we
good.
stay on top.
Okay.
I don't think
Because we
need
don't
to
have
tell him again,
anything
right?
even to make we don't have something to, we could go make them ourselves.
First copy here, and you guys have set, because it'll be, and we should take that small generator and run it under load for like 6 hours or something, because that would have been a godsend. When the seniors were all out, we could have started up the generator and put some lights on in a community room and maybe just a quartz heater to,
Right.
to get people hot coffee or,
Yeah.
something. to-
When the power went out,
We need to do.
we had an emergency center right up the street at the high school.
Sometimes it's just a short
Isn't it?
time and they don't want to leave their.
No,
Well,
but I
that
remember
was
when I
what
looked
we
into
encountered, because we only had like one or two
because we
people
got
come.
those two big ones.
They never knew.
At the time we weren't
Carolina's
charging
in the waiver.
But I
I don't
thought,
know if that's changed or not.
but I thought there was so much time afterwards that they were looking for a grant to get it for the senior center so that we could open it up as a warm center shelter.
I mean, that would be good if,
Yeah.
Enough times
If we
passed
got a
where I would
grant
think
for it.
we would be eligible again.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, it's been a long time.
it's been a long
I'd
time.
like to run the other generator.
You've had the
under load
generators how many
for
years?
8 hours or something.
How many years have you had those big generators?
Oh,
8,
Oh, a long time,
9, 10 years?
I wanna
Okay,
at
think
least
about
10
yeah,
years.
at least 10 years, yeah.
all right. So,
Right, one's older
I'll
than
check
the
and
other.
see
I
if
don't
we're
think they're
eligible
the same
again.
year.
Back on
okay.
Right.
back around 9/11.
So if,
Yeah.
if we
Different
got
ones
it,
on the board.
if we're eligible for another one, can we have the chief put in for it for the senior center?
Of course.
All right.
You can't have too many emergency generators. And I noticed you passed this out with your, I assume this was you?
Yes, they're running another CERT training class, and they asked the police and fire chiefs to just pass them out to our towns. So like if someone wanted to volunteer for CERT,
I see.
It's a way to just,
that's like the first of a series of, I think, like half a dozen trainings that you attended.
Did this get to Tim? We could put this on the website?
that's my boy, I broke the wire there.
I didn't,
Thought we already
I don't know if I
resolved
have
that.
it electronic, but I typically scan it in.
Well, Tim could scan it in, he could make it, he's real crafty like that.
All right,
I'll give Gail the color.
any more questions for the chief? Well done. Joyce,
No, I'm all set.
you don't have anything for us?
Oh, I do, yeah, I thought you meant the chief. Do I have anything for the chief?
I was gonna go, wow. Nothing happened this week?
Is this your
Same
writing?
old, same old, same old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why do you have this? There's sewer.
Oh, so that you know that because you are in charge of the payroll, and we can't enter anything into payroll unless the selectmen authorize it, so just, you've seen it?
No, that's not so. This is the sewer commissioners, the governing body of the sewers,
Yeah,
monies,
yeah, that's fine.
their
It's your-
payroll. It's their money, their
Well,
payroll.
then have them have their own payroll then, but you're in charge of our payroll system. We do not enter anything into the payroll system unless the
That's right.
selectmen, I mean,
Well, we went
this
through
is an
this last
internal
year, I
control
think, didn't we?
procedure.
So just
I mean, you're not gonna
let's see.
approve it, we're just acknowledge it and say, okay, so that when we're audited as part of internal, because anybody could come
If
up.
I put my
and
initials
hand
next to
something.
it, I'm approving it.
That's right.
So you don't wanna approve it? I mean, you don't want to,
I'm not, no, because that,
we're their payroll service.
I get it,
Okay.
that we're their payroll service, I get that, but the general public doesn't understand that if sewer gets raised, we initial it, we're approving it, they don't get that, I don't know.
Well, what
It's
would
too
the general
convoluted to
public
me.
have to do with it anyway? This is just an internal procedure that we.
It's
can go ahead-
taxpayer money,
Oh, it's sewer user money.
Yeah,
it's still
it's
taxpayer
it's still-
money.
It still comes by way of
Yeah.
taxpayers.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I missed what the point is. You don't wanna know.
Isn't there?
It's not a question of not knowing, it's
Isn't
just,
there another form that could be used?
No, they're using our PAR form. That's fine, that's the form that we use.
No.
Or an
To
addendum to
authorize-
say that this, we authorize this based on the information.
we
given.
authorize based on this on a payroll, being a payroll service, we do, however, have no say in what,
That's true, but it's still a town employee, and we should know if there's been a change.
We
No.
haven't in the past.
No,
I would like to, because it's a town employee.
Well,
One town employee, we wouldn't know, just the one. Why is that? Why is that?
because the Board of Selectmen shouldn't be authorizing or signing off to it. So, I mean, anybody's entitled to know what the sewer commissioners have done.
And I didn't sign it, Catherine.
My question is,
I wanna
why
know,
couldn't we create a separate document to allow that entry
Or
instead of using
On
the
this-
PAR form?
or on this PAR form, when we have the selectman's signature for approval for payroll services only,
There you go.
Board of Selectmen. You know, and then it's done.
Disclaimer.
Then you're. Otherwise, I mean, I have no right to say that.
You know the issue.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's an issue.
No, we haven't, Joyce. We have not done that before, Joyce. I can guarantee you that we have not done that.
Okay, yeah, there's two. The selectmen's initials, why, okay. That was attached. But the label's all ready for your public hearing.
All right, so I initialed it. We'll send those down for initials.
And that's done.
So in the future, any payroll associated with that, can we have it typed in there on the PAR form? And that way that will alleviate that issue. Good, all right.
Well, let's get you all wound up.
I already am. I already mapped it. I already highlighted them.
Joe, do you want to initial it now that we?
All right, so for the purposes of this meeting, and the only reason I say this is because I need to get home. I've got 2 people at home that are sick, and I need to. So I just want to acknowledge for the record that you received this and that you know what you have to do, and that there's a meeting on October 15th at 1 o'clock to discuss these concerns. So what is that?
They want us to
Yes,
send a
yes,
letter to
yes.
the utilities that will pay for the lights
Yes.
that they want to
Yes.
eliminate on their highway.
Yes. So you don't have to make that decision tonight. It's not until October 15th.
Paperwork.
No,
Huh?
No?
no,
Done.
well, I'm not in favor of that.
I'm gonna go to their meeting.
Okay.
October 15th?
Yeah, I'm ready, but I'm going.
What is this about?
The New Hampshire Department of Transportation has decided to eliminate streetlights along their corridor.
Right.
And there is a letter here so that we can send it to the utility and say, you know what, we'll pay for it instead.
No, no.
Leave 'em out.
It says if the town of Tilton wishes to assume.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
That's what I said, if we want to leave them out.
So on
You wanna leave
the
them out.
highways, they want to
3 and
eliminate
11. Oh, yeah, lots.
3 and
All the
11.
reds. All the reds. 3 and 11.
Did you see this, Bobby?
so they're gonna take the lights down completely?
Yeah, the green ones?
Yeah? Those are the ones that are coming
Yeah.
down?
See 93? Look at all those on along that corridor,
They want us to take over paying for them.
If
Yeah.
you want.
if you want to.
Oh, if that isn't an unfunded mandate, nothing is.
Or we'll just take it away.
They're idiots.
We don't have to have them. That's what
We will
it
be fielding phone calls from people who are upset because Route 311 has suddenly become dark
You know what?
in a very unsafe
You
manner.
forwarded
Oh,
over
yeah.
to
They
me?
have street lights that are all along the corridor from Lockmere to Winnisquam that aren't lighting intersections. They're
Seems-
lighting up the lake.
Listen,
it
why
seems
don't
to me
we
that
not
Senator-
do it and let the people come in droves to New Hampshire DOT?
How about
That's what I'm
Senator
saying.
Forrester will be here on the,
There are lights.
Senator Forrester will be here on the
That's hard to
21st, and we can address this issue with her, can't we?
The meeting's
It's just
October
coming
15th.
November, though.
No, September 21st. Next week.
No,
No,
November.
No. I talked to her.
The state wants us to pay for the lights along the highway.
She asked for
Should
us,
say.
Yeah. That's what they
Oh,
want.
shut 'em off.
Get it out.
Yeah.
All the bids are up to New Hampshire.
Well, I have not had an
Safety,
opportunity
but
this
not
week
off
to
their
put out an RFP for the carriage house.
September 21st,
Okay,
Jeannie Forest.
That's Monday.
I
That's
need
right.
some technical guidance from the.
We're going
select-
underneath the bridge over here on Route 93
When we
where it's all
voted
falling
to
down.
give the highway, give the planning
4
board
o'clock.
the
To be
authority to
at
issue
the
driveway
meeting of the
permits.
town hall
So I was
on
putting together the letter saying, you know,
Oh,
the
it's the
selectmen
river?
voted this, and then I noticed that the driveway permit is still under old
I
selectmen's
don't-
letter.
It's all signed up.
I was gonna tell Dar, you know, this should change this to the planning
I'm
board.
gonna send him the template. Or do you have it? Did I send it to you to send to him?
I'm just curious about the website, because I took this off the
can
website.
you
I can
start
send him
over?
the file.
Can you start over,
I'm the
because
one
I
who
wanna
wrote
hear it.
that.
Right, I know, so, but,
It's in my computer
Okay.
upstairs. I can send that to him.
okay,
I already talked to Jeffrey. She's talking about the driveway permit stuff, so he can change it and alter it. I talked to Darren, told him I'd send him the program, the Word, it's not Word, it's Open Office.
okay.
And I'd give him my folder of the different municipalities where it came from.
Okay, so then, so I looked through their subdivision regulations, because I'm reading the law, and I looked at the subdivision regulations, and their regulations already designate the road agent.
But the law doesn't allow that.
It says planning board or their designee.
Yeah, I mean, the planning board would have to do that, but they
But
don't
I'm
want
saying,
to.
but they already have them in there, that's what I'm saying, they've already designated them.
No,
No.
they did not
They
designate
did
it.
not.
The selectmen designated it, not the planning board, that's the issue.
That's
Okay.
the way it's always been done in
Right.
this town.
Okay.
The planning board, when it was discussed at their last meeting, was happy to have that responsibility to them and not designate it out, but
Right.
to communicate with the public works director when they come in.
Okay, so,
Because we've had a lot of problems with driveway permits and subdivisions.
I
and
understand
whatnot.
that, but I'm just saying that in their regulations, okay?
Yes, I
Their
know.
subdivision regulations throughout the document, it
That will be
says the road
removed.
agent.
That
So
will
they're
be
gonna
removed.
take it out of there?
That was put in when this was created. When this document was created,
Yeah,
that's when that was put in, so they will remove that.
okay, so if they remove that, then, so you don't want them to designate the road agent?
No.
Okay,
The
that's what I
planning
need.
board does not want to do
Okay,
that.
that's what I wanted clarification of,
Yes.
so that they will, and does Dari know that they have to
Yes.
amend their,
That
he
was
does?
the conversation of the planning board.
All right,
Yes.
so the planning board's gonna sign all the driveway permits?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, just
With
needed
input from the
clarification.
public works director.
Correct, okay,
That's the plan.
all right, because it doesn't say that, it just says that
No, it
they
will.
are, and it already says in their regulations that
That's coming.
in their regulations, they designated the road agent.
Yes, when that document was created, that's what took place.
They changed and put in the road agent?
They didn't know at the time, because the public works director had always been in this town, the person to give them out. They didn't know that it was their authority and then that they could designate it. They thought it was the selectmen's authority because it's a road issue.
All right.
So now that it's been clarified, they're happy to have it back.
Good, all right, so they're gonna take that out,
Yeah, we'll change it. Dara will see to that.
okay. I sent you Cindy's information on tax map R186. I didn't know if you had any questions about it. She sent all the information.
He's coming in next week,
Okay.
but it has to be both of them.
Yeah.
We're not taking just one.
Is there somehow we can make certain that they understand that the property owner
Has to be here.
present?
All right?
Or it's an unproductive meeting?
Right. And chief? Next week.
All right, did you want Cindy there?
Cindy would like to be present.
Does she need to be good?
We'll make it earlier in the day so that it's 5:30 that she leaves, so we'll make sure that it's early enough. And what do we have next week, anyway?
Does it have to be on finalized public works? It's in that person approval.
She that's
They
okay.
can-
I'm okay with it.
They
That's
can
good.
decide
Public
whether
Works.
Nice.
Budget.
Nice.
And
That can be later,
and
because
then
you won't
that
have a
person, he
meeting.
says after 5. He asked for after 5.
After 5?
Yeah,
Okay.
5 or after 7. And he wants it non-public.
So, that's gonna be next Thursday?
He's asked for a date next Thursday. But we want them to be, both of them, the property owner needs to come in with the person.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do with the property.
Right.
We can only make a deal with the property owner, right?
The next thing is, Pat and I, it's either Pat or I, or Joe and Pat, have signed up for the Health Trust on September 29th. It's from 7:30 to 3. It's called a Health Trust Summit. And I'm not gonna be able to attend. So we have 2 registrations
Health Trust.
for Health Trust. Is there any way?
That's not the one at Steel Hill, right?
No, this is
This is
their.
the Pony Center in Concord.
Concord, yeah.
At what center?
Rapona.
Center.
I'm going at noon, right?
Yeah, because in the afternoon, it's mitigating healthcare cost drivers, plan design strategies to contain costs, mitigating, oh yeah, and then they just swapped it in the afternoon. Empowering employees to engage in their own
Well, what's
healthcare.
going on in the morning?
The morning is the impact of the Cadillac tax and strategies to contain costs.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
major.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. My
All right.
eyes are already glazing over.
Okay, so definitely Joe, Joe is definitely going.
I'm going.
And
Okay.
Pat.
All
for
there.
half a day.
If you're not going, why don't we have Gail go?
Oh, I asked her if she wanted to go. Do you want to go?
Half dozen one or the other, but she's gonna be out that day, so it makes sense for me to stay
Well,
covered.
you're gonna retain a lot more than I'm gonna retain.
Well, you're only going at noon.
I'll watch The Office, you go
Okay,
the whole
then you
day.
go.
What
Then
day
you
is
go.
it?
It's a Tuesday.
I'll
What
watch
day?
The Office and you.
I can
go.
watch The Office, because I'm here anyway. Doesn't matter where I'm doing health officer stuff,
There you go.
unless I get
So,
called out
wanna
and
go
I'm
in the
not
town
here.
car and ride down?
You get
Then
called
there'll be a
out?
problem if I get called out.
Right. I'll watch The Office, you go, all day with Joseph.
We'll ride down in the town car.
Chief, you wanna go? It's the 29th on a Tuesday. It's a health trust.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I forget. Sorry. We're inspecting. I don't know the date, but it's Monday or Tuesday.
I had sent everyone a draft of the agreement.
This is Peter's draft.
Gail has keeping a stack of stuff for Peter.
That's Peter's. Catherine sent back some comments. And I got an email from Rick and he's fine.
Who sent back some?
Catherine.
This WRTA series.
Yes, I sent it to Rick and Ken, and Rick said he was fine with it.
Yay. And Mr. Sullivan has seen this?
No, no, not yet. This is
Seems like he would have to sign off on this. wouldn't he?
Well, if you read it, it's, a lot of the decision-making is left up between him and our
That's true.
WRTA.
That's true.
Well, one of the things about the shrubberies would be that he is going to take some bigger responsibility for maintaining them too. The first year follow. like follow the instructions of Belknap Landscaping or something who installs the shrubs.
Gotta be wired once a week.
I think there should be a document between WRTA and Mrs. Sullivan that says WRTA is not responsible for the care and maintenance of the shrubs.
Yeah,
Let them,
because it isn't between us.
right.
And there's no expectation that the town of Tilton
Yeah.
will be maintaining the shrubbery either.
And the fence. How about the fence? It's stockade fencing?
We
Privacy
just said
fence.
privacy fence.
Starting at the existing stockade and proceeding east to a distance to be determined between the trail and Mr. Sullivan.
Same thing, since it's not our fence,
Yeah,
we should make it clear that this is where our responsibility is.
it's not, we're just mediating this,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
To make sure.
Or do you want it,
I mean, I'll advocate for Mr. Sullivan what he needs, but this isn't between us and Mr. Sullivan,
Yes,
or us and the trail.
We're,
Yeah, it
we're
is.
stepping,
No.
we'll step in if it doesn't get,
Doesn't
Right.
get done.
if it doesn't happen.
Well, if it doesn't happen, but the deal is not between us and Mr. Sullivan.
Look at number
Between the
3.
trail and Mr. Sullivan.
Take a look at number 3.
What did I miss? Well, the grade's approved by the town, yeah.
Excellent document, Joyce.
No, I agree with the document. It has to be the town. You can't have them make a deal when we're the ones that are, if anything happens, it's,
The deal is between the trail and Mr. Sullivan.
no, the deal is between us and the trail to protect Mr. and Mrs. Sullivan.
it was my understanding that this agreement is between the town and the WRTA. The WRTA is responsible for paying for a privacy fence, and that they're gonna work it out, WRTA is gonna work it out with Mr. and Mrs. Sullivan on what they want, all the
Yeah.
details and maintenance, whatever. And that WRTA is gonna pay for suitable shrubs, whatever shrubs the Sullivans want,
Right.
and work out anything on making sure that, I would think that Rick would know to say, well, you know, Mr. Sullivan, this, you're responsible for making sure that you follow the instructions. And that what the town is approving is the grate, that
The grade-
WRTA is gonna
The
pay
grade
for,
is one thing.
and
But
that
we
they're
s-
gonna maintain it.
We still
We are.
maintain our authority to close the trail if
Yeah.
this isn't
Mhm.
done satisfactorily, that's all. But it does give us ownership in the way this is written now.
The reason I sent you this second document is because we don't want to impede, we don't wanna go in and do any work on right-of-way property.
Yeah.
Be constructing anything on the railroad's right-of-way property.
Mhm.
So anything that we do, we would have to do it after they've completed the project. And they have on their schedule to be substantially completed will be scheduled. Substantial completion is supposed to be October 5th, and final completion is October 19th.
Would that include the fence? Or that's after the
Well, as
19th?
long as that fence stays entirely on Mr. Sullivan's property,
Mhm.
fine. But anything is that, any improvements to the grate or
Would have to be.
accessing that to do construction on his,
Yeah.
we would be impinging, we don't really have the authority to do that. Because all we have authority to do is, right now, Northfields has permission to construct a trail
Mhm.
in the railroad right-of-way, and then we have permission to go in and maintain the trail once it's complete. So, I just point that out because this should happen as soon as they're all done and they're out of there, which will be soon. We can't do anything right now.
No, we could just go forward with getting what does it want for a fence, what does it want for plans, getting a cost to fabricate a thing for the pipe. That's what we can do. and then be ready.
You ready?
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Now, the other thing Catherine and I discovered, and I'm sure I just haven't had any further time today to research it, but it does say in the minutes that the board signed the March 13th, 2015 agreement. 'Cause remember, we updated the maintenance agreement between the town and WRTA so that it encompasses everything. Because the other one was done in 2009.
Right, we had to have one for phase 2A.
Yeah, and we just can't find the original signed document. So, and I checked with Cindy and she said, no, she didn't have it. So, I'm still looking for that, because that's the document that we're citing in this. So I can go to the file and pull out the thing, well, where's the original? It's not in there, so we'll find it. Rip has been in touch with Belknap Landscaping. They started today, they brought in all the boulders and have stockpiled them. It's not Rich DeBrell, it's another Rich. I spoke with Nikki today, and Nikki got in touch with me, and I went down there briefly, that they are going to go ahead and start working on planting the shrubs, doing the, gotta bring in some more fill and everything. They can also bring in the gravel to do the drive. They can do everything that they need to do, but they can't put down the trail. Because the
Trail is a little.
right, and that's stone dust. They will have to put some more fill on top and then the stone dust, but they have gone ahead to start all the other things. And when I tried to press Glenn again today, when's the trailer gonna move, when's the trailer gonna move? He wouldn't give me a firm date, he just said mid-October. As soon as that's complete, then it'll be out there. The fencing company was in putting in their fence on the trail, and then there's communication back and forth between Brian Lombard and the engineers on, they still have to construct the Knapp Road crossing and pull up the Mare one, but that doesn't impact our parcel. They will do all that from the Knapp Road or from the Mare property.
Now, the section of fence along the front, when is all that?
That probably will be done towards the very end. That's all part of the Belknap Landscaping. We've only paid them half. We haven't paid them the other half.
Is all that grass or behind the split rail fence, is that gonna be, remain high like that?
Yes.
It is?
There's gonna be a lot more wildflowers. One of the wildflowers are real short this year. It's all gonna be that, and then just mowed at the end of the season to
Scatter the
scatter
seeds,
the
naturalized.
wildflowers.
Really? And they expect people to walk through that?
Well,
Well,
we did have discussion
wanted
about cutting
a
like
natural
a path.
trail, right.
You know, mowing a path through there.
You will
That's like
have,
Tick City.
yeah, it is Tick City. You'll have fishermen going wherever they feel like it, because fishermen access that riverbank in there, just below the falls.
It's a nature area, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a wild area beside the river that people have access to. And regardless, I think it's gonna be wherever we go.
I've had so many phone calls and saying, are they gonna mow that?
I know, me too.
Why, are they
They're
gonna mow
complaining
it? Seriously, and
Are they planning-
ask all the time.
On doing that on the Ernie's property as well?
Once
Having it
it's all done, then
naturalized?
it gets turned into a complete conservation area.
They're gonna let it grow like that?
That's what it was seeded for, yeah.
Now that's gonna be a problem, because you've got a path going right through there, and that will be Tick City,
Oh, yeah.
Path, where?
coming through the Ernie.
trail.
The trail.
The trail.
There's grass going like that all along the trail and all the way up, down.
Yeah.
Anybody who goes into the grass does so at their own risk.
We're outdoors, you're gonna get ticks, you're gonna get bees, you're gonna get mosquitoes.
I got stung by a bee. Ah!
Trust me, people don't want West Nile virus.
No, we don't. That's true.
She can't sign it, that's hers.
No, this is the
No,
other
no,
one.
that's the other one.
I didn't sign it because I was sign shy on mine.
Did
I will be
Did I
here on the
miss
ninth,
one?
so
Oh,
nobody
this is
signed it.
I missed it altogether.
Yeah, let's see. All right.
But it's not a park per se,
It's
it's a
conservation.
No, but it should be a
it's
safe
conservation
place.
area.
That's not safe.
Well,
Take it up with
originally,
the
when we did
Conservation
the
Commission.
EPA, wasn't it originally they were gonna create a park and they was gonna have a little conservation part over in the corner, and then they were gonna
That's right.
keep the turtle area, the nesting area,
Yeah,
and people were gonna be able to
flagpole was
walk
in it.
through and
Picnic
do-
tables are in it.
in a
There was
kiosk.
a
and
lot of
everything.
things
The
originally.
kiosk will be there.
And now we're just gonna have what we think is gonna be wildflowers, which is you can't walk through. I've never walked through it.
Well, you just have to go to the Conservation Commission.
It'll keep people who have bee allergies out of there.
Go.
And I
It'll-
think
It's
there'll
not a
be,
park.
I think it's gonna kind of develop its own
You
natural.
can
Well,
call
originally
it-
it was going to
kayak.
be
The
drawn,
Conservation
takeout.
Commission can call it whatever they want, whether they say it's not a park or not. People
It's a
have
park.
used that piece of property for generations,
Yeah.
since the mill and the sawmill were gone,
And
for
they-
park use. So regardless of what you name
They've
it,
used it for
regardless of
storing
how
trucks
you
and
mow
garbage
mow
and-
it,
Yeah, that was
people
private
will
property.
use that
dangerous,
to
too.
access the river.
But
Yeah.
my
Yes, they have
opinion is,
been.
we spend
And it
all
won't be
that
safe.
money to make it really, really nice, and now we have long,
It does look really nice.
I think it looks beautiful,
And they cut down all the bushes along the river. Did you notice that, John?
of course.
Aspen was
I don't know
there.
if I emailed this to the board or not, but remember, we also have the petroleum fund.
That's
cleanup
right.
Where we're still doing the water testing, and they did a round of tests, and everything looks good except for arsenic. The arsenic is still high.
It was high
That will
back
be
at
for
the
a while.
start.
So they've asked for guidance from DES to say, what do you want now for more testing? But that's all paid for by the petroleum fund. And you can see the wells in there. They sectioned off where the wells are.
people aren't gonna walk in there anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Photos in the driveway.
In the driveway.
I mean, the parking lot and none in the trail, it's all in the parking lot.
The arsenic will keep the ticks away.
There you go.
I doubt it.
So,
All right, Vicky Virgin Food Drive, did we hear back? Did we make a date on October 24th?
That was up to you tonight.
Suppose. If you really wanna go, we'll be sad.
Every one of these.
If everybody gets better and you hang in there.
Yeah.
I'll be on the moose hunt that day.
The 24th?
Yep.
Just tell me when.
It's a Saturday, just come home.
The moose hunt actually ends that day, so there's still people there. I leave on Sunday morning.
Maybe we'll get the moose early.
That could happen. If everybody gets their moose by Thursday, I get paid the same, so.
You hunt moose?
No, I cook for guys who hunt.
Oh, you
moose.
cook for guys that hunt moose.
All right, so, Chief, you got it? You're gonna find out from Walmart and BJ's to see if we can open up the 24th instead of the 10th.
It's on-
Market Basket couldn't do the 10th.
October.
Yeah. Okay, October 24th, 9 to 1. All right. What else do we have that we absolutely have to have?
I have a couple.
Okay. What? Go ahead.
I talked to Esplin. They should be coming through here. He expected them to be doing the Main Street trees this week. Wasn't he here last week? Weren't they on Main Street last week? Esplin? I don't know.
Well, they were down
If they
there.
were on Main Street, they should have had a police detail, and the police didn't know anything about it. They were down on Grant Street.
They were down on Route 3,
They're on
all
Cedar
along the
Street
river,
today.
and they didn't
Right.
have any.
So they should be coming along Route 3
Yeah.
on Main Street soon, very soon. So I would like to ask the board to hire Squires Landscaping to trim the trees aesthetically after they get done. It's Paul Rushloff. It is the lowest bid that was received by far. I have a list of all the bids here, if anybody would like to see them.
I'm curious why this is before us. Isn't this a park commission thing?
Main Street's not a park.
Okay. I thought the park commission, maybe it was, they were getting some done. and
We used, they had
Feedback or
chippers one
something.
time and we used
Yeah.
them at the same time.
Okay.
That's right,
okay,
because the
okay.
price was less,
Yeah.
but this price is even
Yeah,
less.
yeah.
So the park does the island
No,
We do.
the island is owned
That's
jointly
a
by the
selectmen.
towns of Northfield
though? What was on
and
the
Tilton.
budget?
So,
Yeah, but 2 years ago, there was a thing for maintenance, the
That's
trees on
right.
the island.
that's right. Because
For the
when we get our bids for the other parks, we include the island because it's less. If you did the island by itself,
Right.
it would cost you more because you're gonna have mobilization charges.
Yeah,
But
the
it-
transportation
it's-
and whatnot.
It's not. the
But
island
it
is
doesn't
not-
come out
It's
of,
for us.
it doesn't come out of the park commissioner's budget,
Okay, it's just looped in on that
That's right.
project.
just so we can get a cheaper.
Get a better
Like a flea
price.
market.
Just
Better
like the
price.
porta potty that's used for the island, when we price the porta potty, we include that, so we get a package price. We get it for less.
Regionalization.
But there you go. So
So
I'd like to
moved.
make a motion to hire Paul Rushlow to do the Main Street trees for $775.
For the purposes of discussion, I would second the motion. Does Mr. Rushlow have the proper equipment to get to the top of those trees?
Yes, he says he does. He's walked them, he's looked at them,
Like a bucket?
and said he can do whatever is necessary.
Does that include Pocket Park?
No, this is
Just
just
the
Main
trees
Street.
downtown, on the street.
We have a separate price from another company to do Pocket Park, the park commissioners.
Oh, that's park.
Because that's a park.
Get it right, John.
Okay, moving along. Any more questions for the town portion of the arborist?
I do have one more question. When will this work be completed?
It's gonna just, as soon as possible, it's gonna depend on Asplin. Paul Rushlow would just be waiting for Asplin to get done.
Well, I know they were working at the far end of the street, Asplin was.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they've done everything, but they were working on
I
those.
think
Chestnut
we'll-
Street,
I'm sure we'll know when they come down Main Street.
the corner of Chestnut and Main they were at.
Yeah. then we're
And
down
so does that mean that there should be, that should be a police detail?
there. Chief?
What's the intersection?
Main
Main
Street.
Main Street.
Yeah, definitely.
They're gonna do the trees on Main Street. Whoever does those trees on Main Street, whether it be Ashland or this gentleman here, Mr. Rushlow, it seems like that would, you're gonna have a truck, a bucket, something. They're gonna be blocking off stuff.
Yeah, and they usually do call us.
You better have one of the officers, if they see the Asplin truck, to stop and have a conversation with them so that they know. And they may be in a place where they should have one when they stop and talk to them.
Yeah, because Main Street definitely.
Paul will probably have ladders or something. I don't think he'd have.
Ladders or pole saws. but
Poles,
he
yeah.
might-
Right.
He
might
has
be-
looked at them, he's walked them, he knows them.
Right, I
He's
don't
also-
think he would stop traffic.
He's not gonna stop traffic.
He has insurance and everything for this?
Yes. He Squires Landscaping,
Okay.
has been for
And,
many years.
yeah, I guess they'll take care of the cars and the parking.
Yeah, there'll have to be something, I don't know what, early in the
Okay.
morning or something.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
I had a conversation with you all about the knotweed at the Grange a few weeks ago.
It's all done.
Well, I had asked Paul Rushlow to look at it, he said, got back to me and said that it was more than his equipment could handle. John Bernard had contacted me and told me that he was in fact going to be cutting it down
And you did.
on his side, and he certainly did. So he got rid of enough of it that I called Paul Rushlow and asked him to go over and look at it again and reconsider if he would give us a price for taking care of it. Well, lo and behold, when I talked to him, he had gone over and looked at it, and in fact, he had sprayed it.
Mr. Bernard?
No, Mr. Rushlow.
Oh, did he?
So,
So you owe him money?
I don't know. he will send us a bill. It's already taken care of, and I'm sure the bill is, this is,
We need it.
Well, I think
is this
That's
is
we
really
should,
nominal.
we should talk to him about a complete plan for that, because the
Yeah.
fact that he sprayed it,
He has
we
one,
should.
and he knows. He's
how
the one
much
that got
come
rid of
back
it
and-
at Ernie's.
Now, all that downhill
yeah.
slope
You got-
was covered with knotweed.
Yes.
And it was cut down, probably, maybe wasn't sprayed. Now, doesn't that mean that this stuff, which is worse than sumac, for God's sake, is going to continue to grow, spray or
Have
no
to be
spray?
sprayed more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it wasn't sprayed at all.
Paul Rushlow told me that when he went over to look at it,
Yes.
to reconsider it, to give us a
Yes.
price, he sprayed it.
The downhill part that
Yes.
wasn't his property to spray.
I had already talked to John Bernard
Okay.
about
All right, okay.
allowing us to do his and, talked briefly about, some remuneration, so, yeah, so I'll talk to him more about that.
Yeah, that's. one
I
of the
was
things.
I
Nope.
didn't expect him
You
to
can
spray it,
cut
I'm
it
actually
when
glad he did.
But even one leaf of Japanese knotweed in a mower will cause it to grow wherever it lands.
Wherever it lands,
Yeah,
stuff
so
is,
it'll probably
Nasty.
take a couple of years to get rid of it.
They can grow 30 feet deep and 50 feet laterally.
Okay, what else you got?
You know what, the rest can wait until next week. Those were the two pressing.
No major decisions, so that when Peter's here next week, we can.
Yeah, the rest can all wait next week.
Anybody else got anything that they need to bring up, or?
I'm going to a USG.
Oh, wait a minute, I take it back, I'm sorry.
Sir,
I'm sorry.
go for
I'm
it.
sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. The impound yard, I met with the contractor that I was concerned about his price. We went over there, he looked at the trees that needed to come down, looked at the site, and he's firm on his price. So I'd like to go forward with the project. The total is right now $17,586. That's a total of 3 bids.
And that's for the pad, the fence, the site work and everything.
That's everything.
We have the gate and the fence, we have a usable thing when we're done.
Yeah.
There's no hidden costs here.
Oh, yeah, of course there is.
Ah!
When he goes to digging, there's a disclaimer on his bid, as any
It's on
excavator
ledge.
would. And that's exactly, you're exactly right. Any ledge or buried debris may incur additional costs. Slight possibility, the concrete price may increase depending on the excavating, but I think that will be fine. Because the concrete is typically based on yards, so if it goes over in yards, but it also could go under. So that's probably pretty stable. You're more looking at a variance, the unknown is going to be in the digging, just as it said. I don't suspect he's going to find any ledge.
No,
He
you're not gonna
doesn't
dig
either.
that deep.
He's more concerned about hidden debris.
How deep do they dig?
The site is far from level, so he's gonna have to remove the surface soils and then fill it up. We talked today about materials, the RFP, I cited crush bank run, 1.5 inch maximum. He's talking about ledge packed, it's more draining. So we might be able to get more ledge pack than we would crush bank run for the same price, but he's still comfortable with his price because he's got some supplies, so. I mean, it's all sounded good, but like I said, as Joe said, that we don't know what's buried there. So I'd
I
like to
hope
make-
nothing, but who knows?
Who knows, dead mind. So I'd like to make a motion to go forward with the impound yard for a total of $17,000, can we call it $600?
Not to exceed,
Without an additional work order.
not to exceed that.
Yep,
That was the same.
$17,600. If it, for any reason, an additional work order would come forward to the board of
Yeah,
selectmen.
second that.
All right, a motion has been made and seconded, and any discussion?
Only that I hate spending $17,000 in taxpayers' money for this. but
We'll
I
figure
know-
out,
I
Tim,
know we need it.
I know,
I know we
it has to
need
be done. Do we, we'll figure from Tim where it's gonna come from?
Yeah, when we I first started getting these prices in, because I had no idea what was going on, well, I did on the concrete.
Oh, I have one more question.
He said that, yeah, there would be some funds in there for that.
Okay. Will the concrete pad include those screws for containing spills and?
Positive limiting barriers, yes, they are designed, yeah,
To
they're
close.
actually designed for gas
Collar.
stations,
Oh, you're gonna have to glue.
because, yeah, they're,
Nice.
you use
Yeah.
chamfer strip to make them.
Yep, yep.
But they're designed to hold for every tank or every handle you have that produces gasoline, 5 gallons.
Yep.
So we'll have to come up with, you know, a capacity for them to hold.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Like
think.
it's a radiator, let's go, or
I
something
think your
like that.
standard gas station pump like BJ's is what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14?
Is there any kind of warranty on these, this thing cracking or splitting or sealer?
No, but the RFPs that I spec'd out has them compacting, and low lifts. I'm laughing because he's like, "Rah, rah, rah," but they actually have to take a plate compactor and compact it.
You do compression.
A
test.
floating slab is not like a foundation floor where it's pretty rigid. It is designed to move with the earth, it's all to float. So that's why it's an
Yeah, I was just.
Alaskan monolithic floating slab.
Oh,
So I'll tell you, the one things that don't crack are typically Alaskan monolithic floating slabs.
'Cause they
The re-
float.
Well, you've got 2 rows of rebar in the perimeter. You've got 6x6 number 10 wire mesh that comes through and then bends down into that thickened edge. You have
that's not good.
you have, 14 to 18 inches of compacted crush bank run drainage. Yeah, they don't typically.
So there is no warranty on the slab.
There isn't a concrete outfit out there that would guarantee.
And that wasn't the question, but no is a proper answer, Catherine. No, there isn't.
You need
Okay.
to sign these.
Just curious.
I'm all set.
On the.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Begrudgingly.
$17,600 for a
It's an
fence and a slab where nobody will see it. I know we need it, but nonetheless.
The good thing about it is it could be built upon.
Joe,
Yeah.
So it's not just a concrete pad.
Oh, we're talking about
maybe
maybe having a building.
maybe when they're building it, the chief will let you go up and put your handprint on it.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
And his initials.
Put my foot.
Or your foot, whatever.
I can play Jim Hoffa for a while.
Hollywood Boulevard.
Hey, if we pay you enough money, could we, do a Hoffman on Joe?
Yeah.
I'll jump right in
Just
there.
put some shoes, just
Just-
sticking up.
just-
Just sit there sticking up somewhere.
Yeah, just some toes and bury the rest in.
Try to explain that one to the FBI.
You see Joe?
No, and
The
then
glasses are.
when the guys come up teaching the FBI leader course, we'll just show them the new impound garage we've
What's
got.
up with that?
And we've got these toes sticking up out of You'd love it. That would be great, I love that. That's a great idea, I like that.
Poor Joe.
All right,
It's
any more to come
$17,000 for that.
before us in a public session? Anybody?
On the 23rd of September, I'm going to the underground storage tank training thing. And on the, and I can verify what Catherine was saying about the containment system on the, because that we have those all over the place and gas pumps and whatever, so. And I want to go home.
I've made hundreds of them.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in
Not
favor?
debatable? Me?
That used to be my job.
All right, don't forget, we want that tape.
The,